Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo! Monk.
What is good? What is going on? And what is cracking? I am Philly Foothills, and I am back in another episode of East Meets West, where we try to give you the best place to come get stuff off your chest when it comes to our Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go. Welcome in, everybody, to episode 35 of East Meets West with my co-hosts, AK Eagles, Eagles Uncensored, and Vic 3 down below me. We are triple live streaming tonight. So make sure you hit that thumbs up on all three channels. Make sure you're locked in and subscribe to all three channels as well. And we got a lot to talk about. And tonight we got two special guests. We got Pablo Gary and we got Mucci Robinson in the building as well. So this one's going to be a great one tonight. I am so excited. And thank you all for being here. Like I always say, you guys are the absolute food and the water to the channel. Without you, it does not continue to survive. So if you're feeling the vibe, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to all of our content. Keep our dreams alive. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. I'm fired up. We got a lot to talk about. Let's go. Prayers out to Gio from the 215. Hope he gets well very soon. Our other co-host. He's a little under the weather. He's got some problems with his voice, so prayers out to him as well. Definitely get better soon, my guy. And yes, sir, let's go. Fuego. Cut the music. Let's go, guys. Welcome in. AK, Vic, my co-host, Pablo Gary, Mucci Robinson. We got some great content creators in the building tonight. So let's go, guys. How we feeling?
Man, I kind of feel like I want to run through a wall right now, man. That intro's kind of crazy. I don't know if I'm more excited about the Hassan Ridgeway signing or your intro, man. I really appreciate you having us.
No, listen.
Hey, shout out to Key in the building for the intro.
I was about to rant. I was real. Like I'm Mucci, I get. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I was about to spit around.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys. I'm glad you guys are feeling the energy because that's definitely what we try to bring here on the East Meets West. We open the floor to all the opinions out there. We don't want people to hold back. You just keep it professional for the most part. We definitely always welcome you with open arms, and we are glad to have our guys here tonight. Definitely, it's been a minute since we talked to Pablo Gary and to Mucci Robinson. So, I definitely we got some catching up to do. And, like I said in the intro, I'm just really, really excited for this one because, this team is definitely going through a transition. So, yeah, we got a lot on the docket, definitely. What's going on, Pablo? How you feeling, man?
Not much, man. Before we even get into it, man, I just want to say, I appreciate again the intro and what you guys do. Everybody knows that the East Meets West podcast, man, is one of the dopest podcasts on YouTube. So just want to show love to Vic 3, aka Eagles, Philly Foothills, man. And again, thank you guys so much for having me. But it's so much going on, like just within the NFL, not even just the Eagles, right? So much going on. But I'm excited. And, when Howie Roseman is quiet, something is brewing, right? We don't know what it is, but something is going to happen. So I'm just like everybody else, man. Just excited to see what's next. I'm sure we're going to talk about the Hassan Reddick signing and what that means for this defense, and just one of the things that Howie Roseman is doing to get this team to where we're trying to go.
Yes, sir. AK, Victory, my co-host. How we feeling tonight, guys? I haven't heard from you guys yet. How we doing?
Go ahead, Vic.
Hey man, doing good, man. Really excited. Like we just talked about, there's a lot of news going on, not just with the Eagles. Today was a quiet day, like it was said. Tumbleweeds were going around, but we know Howie's advising something. So I'm really excited to get into it, with our guest.
Yeah, man. Once again, I do appreciate Mucci and Pablo coming on again. And I appreciate you saying that, Pablo and Mucci, about the show. Listen, man, we take a lot of pride in this thing, and I have a lot of respect for you two as well. And, hearing that from you, that means a lot. So thank you. But yeah, not lying, man.
Too.
Yeah.
If I can say, I remember me and Foothill, we was going toe to toe trying to get to 1,000. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like I fell off for a minute. But other than that, like I've been hearing y'all guys. I always wanted to talk to each and one of y'all. Me and Pablo, we just, we click like that too. Like we got our own podcast going. So I mean, to be here right now and like again, we haven't talked for so long, and now we can just get back with no problem. I mean, it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Not a doubt.
Talk about Eagles football. You know what I'm saying? So,
hell yeah,
I'm ready.
Live it, breathe it, love it.
Dream about it. Yep, exactly.
Dream about it. Yeah. No, listen, man, it's all about Eagles football. That's what we come here tonight to talk to you guys about. And, I'm a little pissed off. Last 2 days been quiet, nothing going on. Now I'm pissed because it hasn't went our way. I give all the credit in the world to Howie Roseman. He has been trying his hardest to do whatever he can. I know he was in the mix of Williams. I know he was in the mix for DJ Chark. He was in the mix for oh man, I can't think of them all right now. He had a lot of people in mind though, and he tried, but we were just getting outbidded right and left. So, I can't blame the guy for not trying, because he did. So, but yeah, we still got the rest of the week yet here. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm so happy you guys accepted our invite, man.
Definitely.
All right, so let me be the big eagle, the elephant in the room. Even though we got Hassan Reddick, the linebacker, but I do say again, I mean, Howie Roseman, he's like, I guess he's head of everything, right? But here it is. We got the linebacker. Now we got two good linebackers. We got Hassan Reddick, and then we got TJ Edwards. But as you can all see what Hassan Reddick did, I mean, that's a blessing. He got $45 million for the next 3 years. I mean, that's good money. $30 million guaranteed. But again, is he going to be blitzing, or is he going to be in that awful Jonathan Gannon defense of a zone? Meaning, is our linebackers going to be stepping back? You know what I'm saying? And messing up our Achilles tendons. Like, that's the reason I was looking at. What's that other guy from? He's from the Green Bay that they was looking at.
Zadarius Smith.
Yeah.
Or Devondre Campbell. Devondre Campbell.
Yeah. Now you see how his gameplay is. Every time when he stepped back, he was intercepting the ball. Like, that's a good thing. But guess what he was in? He was in his own defense. So that's telling me that Jonathan Gannon's still going to stay in his zone defense. So why do we have Hassan Reddick? Or what?
Well, from what I'm
going to be blitzing the ball. I mean, we don't know.
And that guy Campbell,
he was horrible. He was horrible when he was with the Falcons. I mean, he was awful. And then he went from the Falcons to another team to Green Bay, and all of a sudden he became all pro. That's fine, but I'm just glad that we didn't touch him. So again, I'm glad that we got Hassan Reddick. But again, are we blitzing, or are we just going to stay in zone defense? And do we have to wait for other teams to lose for us to get into the playoffs? So if
Well,
if that's what it is, let me know now so I don't get excited. You know what I'm saying, when we watching football. Because I
no,
will
no,
look this time. I'm calling up Pablo. I'm gonna call you up and say, look, bro, see what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So that's my only problem. We getting good players, but are we still going to be in the same defensive protocol to is he going to stand there and we not going to play good football? I mean,
no,
that's
no.
my only thing.
That's why we kind of got him because we were going to a hybrid defense this year. You know, Gannon wants to turn our defense into a 4-3-3-4, run both of them, and actually that's why we got Riddick because Riddick can do both, and he gives us that versatility to do that, which is something we haven't had last year to do. That's why we were stuck in that shitty defense all year long. So maybe this kind of frees it up a little bit, you know, with his signing. But that's the reason for it.
Yeah, and Ridgeway's going to, obviously not Ridgeway, Riddick's going to take more of what Gerald Avery was doing, and they're going to expand on that. You know,
Yeah.
he's going to be more of a defensive end, not so much as a linebacker. They said that from the beginning. He's not going to be, he'll be used as a linebacker. That's in some coverages, again, going 4-3. But for the most part, he's going to have his hand on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the thing about it is, you know, the NFL is sort of trending in a way where everybody's looking for that Micah Parsons, right? Everybody's looking for that Von Miller, that guy that you can sort of use as a defensive in the first two downs and sort of have him play coverage on third down. And, you know, Hassan Ridgeway can do all of that. You know what I mean? He can definitely, um, he is at the linebacker position and defensive end position that Malcolm Jenkins was to our defense, if you guys can follow me. So we use Malcolm at the safety. We used him at the linebacker. Hell, even sometimes Malcolm would come off the edge and blitz. So the reason why this is important is because we can see that the NFL at the linebacker spot specifically, it's evolving, right? So we think of the cornerback spot, right, being on the island, right? So now as a linebacker, you got to sort of be on the island because on one play, let's just say the Eagles are playing Kansas City. We have to have a linebacker, right, that can cover Travis Kelce, right? And then the very next play, you have to be athletic enough to run around and chase Patrick Mahomes. And then the next play, you have to go and get Tyreek Hill, right? So you need a linebacker who can do it all. I mean, gone are the days where the Jeremiah Trotter days, right? Where, you know, he's just that middle linebacker in the middle that can just fit the run. But when it comes to pass coverage, he couldn't help you. Now, here's my thing with the Hassan Reddick move. It has nothing to do with Hassan Reddick. It's more about Howie Roseman and Jonathan Gannon, right? Okay, so if we're going to go to a 3-4 defense, but we don't have linebackers, or Howie Roseman is afraid to draft linebackers. He hasn't drafted one in the last, well, we haven't drafted one in the last 40 years. It just doesn't make sense, right? So if we're trying to go to that hybrid defense, okay, you got one linebacker, Hassan, Reddick, but I don't know about TJ Edwards. I again, productive, but you have to have legit linebackers to even do something like that. So on one hand, you got Jonathan Gannon, who's trying to switch up the defense, right? And remember this, Fletcher Cox hated a 3-4. Brandon Graham hated a 3-4. So as a new coach, a new rookie coach coming to Philadelphia, we already see that Fletcher Cox was agitated. He said, look, man, I do not get paid to play screens. Now you're going to put me in a 3-4. So I can see where this is going to ruffle some feathers with some of the veteran players on his team. From that perspective, I don't like it. And then the other side of it is, okay, Howie Roseman, you don't draft linebackers, so why are we even going down this road?
Well, I love that, you know, that whole thing you just said, because I totally agree with you. You do need linebackers to do that. Unfortunately, I believe this is the year he actually takes one because of the fact his ass is on the line. You know, you can't mess up this year. Yeah. There is no excuses. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. And it seems like he has a pretty decent rapport with this coaching staff, offensively and defensively. So I think he's willing enough to listen to them. And so I'm pretty sure you will see a linebacker in the first round this year. And if that happens, I'll be stoked. Okay? Now, as far as Fletcher goes, listen, man, he's on the trade block. I'm done trying to keep people around because I love them, because they're popular to me, because they are loved by everyone. I don't even care about that anymore. I want wins. I want people out there who are going to fight and who are going to go for it. And I believe Cox still has fight left in him, but it ain't the fight we need right now. So him being traded, it is what it is. But with him being on the trade block, that also tells me one thing too. I'm pretty sure if Jordan Davis is there at 15, 16, he's on our team. Whenever, especially when you're willing to give up a guy like Cox. And we all saw what Davis did.
But when you say that, right? Imagine if he was able to play his game last year. Will we be talking about him now? I mean, will we be thinking about trading him now? Because remember, like you said, he was complaining, saying, my job is not to do screens, but yet he was doing screens because of Jonathan Gannon. Like, that never happened until Jonathan Gannon came into the scene. And then Jonathan Gannon saying, I'm not switching up nothing. So you're going to keep him in the zone? And that's what I mean. Every time, you can't play zone playing against Tom Brady. Tom Brady is going to find somebody. Any quarterback can find somebody. Like, that's why we didn't really have no stoppage until the end of the season. Or every time it's like a 3 and long, you always have a wide receiver catching the ball to get the first down. It's all. I mean, it was never. It was an up and down. Like, maybe he'll stop him, maybe he won't. But again, this all falls on Jonathan Gannon, and this is why I wish he did get a coaching job so we can find somebody else to play real defense. It's not. Again, we can all play Madden right now, and if something don't work, we're going to switch up. Like, period.
I don't think anybody was truly interested in him in regards to as a head coach. I think that was all smoke and mirrors. I mean, the guy was a first-year defensive coordinator for goodness sakes. I mean, there's a process to this thing. I know some guys move up quickly, but it's not like his defense was lights out last year at all. His system definitely has some flaws to it. And there's some things that we have to do as far as personnel-wise, scheme-wise. So, there's a lot of work ahead of us, definitely. But, I don't think anybody was really coming after Gannon. Go ahead, AK.
I need to rebuttal to that because, in all honesty, I don't believe it was that Jonathan Gannon is truly the problem. I believe the problem is the personnel is not equipped enough to run the scheme that he wants to run. Because here's my reasoning for that. If you look, Darius Slay just this past year had his best season ever. Ever. If he ran a shitty defensive scheme, Darius Slay would be shitty too. Darius Slay's meant for his scheme, and he balled out. The people around him did not ball out because they are lack of talent for Jonathan Gannon's scheme. But the one guy who was right for his scheme did exactly what he was supposed to do, and look what he did. So I'm not inclined to say JG's scheme is bad. I'm inclined to say the people that are in the scheme are bad. And if that includes Fletcher Cox, then, hey, it's time for a change. I mean, it is what it is, but I'm not all for saying that it is JG yet.
I'm going to say it's a big mix. I'm going to say it's a big mix. I'd rather do with JG and his stubbornness. Because we got to look at where he's coming from the Indianapolis Colts. And you talked about how great Darius' season was. That's great. But one thing that JG had in Indianapolis he didn't have here is linebacker play. Darius Leonard specifically. We don't have that. We never had that for a while. So again, he's trying to emulate that defense and bring it here, just like you said. Phil said, he doesn't have the personnel. But it has to be the coach's job to fit your scheme with what the players that you have. And he hasn't done that. That's on Jonathan Gannon. So, yeah, a lot of it is both, but a lion's share has to be Gannon.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and drag Howie Roseman into this conversation because, we're essentially talking about the roster and the players that we have on this roster. And the reason why we don't have the right players on this roster, right, is because of Howie Roseman, right? And we're so close to the draft. And I think that's the whole point of it, man. Mm-hmm. Howie Roseman has to hit on these guys, man. Like, you can't sit up there and see a DK Metcalf in this draft and say, oh, I want to get another J.J. Arthur-White. It's just not going to work. Like
Right.
we're not going to tolerate it, right? And so for me, I think it's a little bit of both. I think, for me, it's just like you can have all the talent on the world in the world right on this roster, but if Nick Sirianni, let's pivot to Nick Sirianni really quick. If Nick Sirianni doesn't know to run the ball right until 7 games in the season, I mean, what difference does it make, right? You know what I mean? So we have to have competent coaching, right? And I think the competent coaching met the talent that we had on this defense in the middle of the season. When the coaches got better, right?
Yeah.
The offense started to pick up the running game. Literally, we as fans, everyone at home sat up there and said, "Run the damn ball," right? And then once they ran the ball, guess what? We're playing against Tom Brady in the playoffs. So for me, I think the bigger problem is no matter how he drafts, no matter what players we sign, right? I think we have a coaching problem in Philadelphia. I really do. I know that
Right.
the first year, Nick Sirianni, he's going to skate by because we got to the playoffs, right? But I really think once we really start digging and start looking at our own situation in home internally, we'll find that we have a problem. You know what I mean? And these players, superstar players, rookies, whatever, they only can sort of cover it up, but for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, we had Jordan Howard that didn't even play. You kept Miles Sanders in. Why? For what? You got muscle. Use the muscle to wear the defense down. Then you bring the lightning in so we can make more yards. But that's what I was upset about. Like, no Jordan Howard, but now here it is again. We want to sign Jordan Howard again. They said they was going to try to get Boston Scott in, but or throw him back into a free agency. But they're doing everything in their due diligence to keep Boston Scott and Jordan Howard again. But why sign them again if you're not going to use them?
And to piggyback really quick off you, Mucci, here's one of the things that stuck out to me in the playoff game, guys, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right. So you guys remember the last game against Dallas, right? When Nick Sirianni was trying to get Devontae Smith to break Deshaun Jackson's rookie record. All right. The first quarter, it was like every single play call was to Devontae Smith until he got the record. My thing is, and this is why I'm talking about the competent coaching. Okay, so it's the right thing to do to get Devontae Smith the ball to break a record. But the following week, when you're competing for a Super Bowl, Devontae Smith doesn't touch the ball till the second half.
Right.
To me, that is incompetent coaching. It doesn't matter. So you could have had that's almost like the Eagles, let's just hypothetical here, just because he's the number 1 overall pick was said to be. That's like the Eagles having Aiden Hutchinson, right? And Tristan Wirfs on the Buccaneers, their best right tackle goes down, right? And we take him out the game. Why would we do that? Right? And so for me, it's just like the Eagles, I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on, but I know, like AK said earlier, we can't miss. Period.
Yeah, definitely. But I think with that playoff move, just to speak on that, and I just want to touch on what Mookie said before, that was Nick Sirianni literally overthinking. He felt that he could showcase Devontae Smith in one game, the Bucs see it on tape, focus on him, he could be used as a decoy. As soon as that wasn't working, it was time to change things up. And it took him to halftime to do things. And even then, it still didn't work. So I think that was the biggest issue with that. And to touch on what was said before about free agency, it doesn't make sense to sign players that we're not using. And with that, that's the same thing with Greg Ward. Why are we re-signing Greg Ward if we don't even use him like that? There was no point in that. I understand we need a veteran receiver, but he wasn't the guy to sign.
No, I 100% agree with that, man. Like, I'm already into the mindset of pushing out the Doug Peterson era guys. Like let's just get these guys going. JJ, Rager, Scott. All these dudes, just get them going. Except for obviously the good ones like Mailata and shit. Obviously they stay, but these ones that haven't contributed at all, get them going. Get some new bloods in here, and let's just go at it again.
Yeah, but
I feel that way. I feel that way about Miles Sanders. I if anyone's calling me for a trade for Miles, I'm listening very heavily, because I don't know. I just think the relationship has kind of run its course, and I think we need to go in another direction at running back. I really do.
I think right now he's just a safety running back just to have on the squad because we do have him under contract. He is young, but like you said, if there's something that comes up and there's a good offer, you got to make the move. And even this season in the draft, you've got to draft a good quality running back. You need someone else behind him because if we have an injury and he's out for the season, even if we sign Jordan Howard, how long can he last? We don't have Boston Scott. How long can Gainwell last? Can he improve? Is that too much for him? There's too much uncertainty.
I just seen a mock draft today where it has us taking Kenneth Walker in the second.
Hey, I said that. Hold on.
I would not.
I said that when the mock draft first came out, and I got shit on.
And that wouldn't be bad. I mean,
good Lord.
Pablo, is that the one from
Michigan State?
Michigan, right?
Yeah.
I thought he was in college.
Yeah.
I like Brees Hall. I love that kid as a running back. He's a great power, speed, got everything. But hey, I'm not mad at Walker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
beggars can't be choosers.
But is he entering the draft or is he staying in college for another year?
No, he's in the draft. He's in
the draft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But see, again, it's all about this coaching. I mean, it's just we can't get rid of Rager because that's a cap hit. Like he has to stay here because if we let him go, that's like what, $8 million or $10 million?
No, it's $5 million.
Oh, $5 million. Well, that's like $5 million. I mean, if Howie's
it's worth it, I think.
What all depends if you can make a good trade for him too, though.
Yeah.
I think with Jalen, it's
no good trade with him because
right now, listen, let's be honest. Right now, you could probably get a fifth or fourth, anywhere between there.
I know, bro. I think you'd have to give up a draft pick with him for someone to take him.
No.
Hey, somebody. Yeah, you might. Probably would, or at least another player. You have to give up like Dillard or something.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't give up on Jalen Rager too soon, and I want to preface this by saying I actually want him gone. But I look at Jalen Rager, I put him in that Nelson Aguilar sort of mode. If I can wait on Nelson Aguilar 5 years, all right, I can wait on Jalen Rager. I think he just needs to play the slot. I think he needs to be your third or fourth wide receiver, where he doesn't feel the pressure. And honestly, I can't even blame Jalen Rager because this is a habit. This is a Howie habit. This is a Howie Roseman trait. If you go back to the Philadelphia Eagles history, we can never draft a first-round wide receiver. We always draft guys ahead of their time. Nelson Aguilar out of USC can't develop. All right. Jalen Rager can't develop. All right. We have got to stop taking guys that are having a hard time developing in Philadelphia, and how we draft these guys. Like, this is Philadelphia, and this is why honestly I'm glad that we actually have Hassan Ridgeway because he's from Philly, right? He knows the city. He's from Temple, right? So we have to start bringing in guys, right? Yeah, like we got to start bringing in guys. Like, listen, after the whole Carson Wentz situation, and I hope we talk about him later on because that's just for a little bit. Yeah, definitely. But after his situation, man, you got to start like giving guys like a mental evaluation. Like, to come to Philadelphia, you got to be different. Mm-hmm. You got to be different. So what I wanted to make this point, though, really quick about Howie Roseman as it relates to Nick Sirianni and the power that he actually has as the head coach. Because I think Vic 3 was talking about it, and it sort of made me think about it. No. AK, you said this. You were talking about how you want to get out all of Doug Peterson's guys. Like, I thought the whole Ward pick was stupid. I just felt like it was the same thing over again. Like, let's just move on from the guy. Like, he kind of fits that, Boston Scott mode. I love Boston Scott, but I think it's time for him to go. And most coaches had that power to do that. Why couldn't Nick Sirianni do that? Ward, that's a Howie pick, right? So that clearly tells us that Nick Sirianni doesn't have the power that we think that he has. And I think that's going to sort of hamstring him as we move forward in another season.
I think the only reason that we went with them last year, bro, is because of the limited cap space that we had. You know, our hands were really tied last year, really tied. And I believe we just went with Ward and Scott because that's really all we could truly afford. And we needed depth at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it's the only thing I can think of, honestly.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just like,
I
are
thought
we
we against the
going?
wall last season.
Yeah.
My whole thing is, are we going to have new plays? Like, are we going to be out of that? What's that
RPO.
hurry up? Yeah, like as long as we have that out, and as long as we have, as far as our backs, like an I formation, or at least have a fullback. I mean, we just need something new. Like, just don't create something thinking something's going to work. If it don't work, move on to something else. Um,
Stop
especially
with
if
these.
you want.
Stop with the wide receiver bubble screens. You know that they're
Nah,
running those way too much.
I think you'll see expansion of the playbook because you got Jalen Hurts literally in the second year in this offense. So you're going to see them opening it up more. Right now, like it should be that he should have everything in command in this second season. Open it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, man, because I think Jalen Hurts sort of falls in that category where it's like, oh, he's a quarterback of color. All he can do is run the ball. And I think somebody talked about, a handicapping, the offense. And I think it's true. It's a lot of truth to that. And I think, when you start, not just Jalen Hurts, when you start to put these quarterbacks of color in a certain mode, oh, he's Lamar Jackson, he can't throw, all he can do is run. You sort of hamstring guys. You're talking about Jalen Hurts, who had to learn a new offense for 6 years straight. And you're sitting up here telling me this kid can't learn a new offense. All he can do is RPOs. So what did he do at Oklahoma? What did he do as a freshman at Alabama? So I can't buy that narrative. That narrative, the whole, where this black quarterback, all he can do is run RPOs. It's not the truth. It's not the case at all. And I hope it sort of changes moving forward. But on the flip side of that coin, Jalen Hurts has to produce. All right. There are
Mhm.
some throws that he has to make. There are some reads that he has to make. But I think a lot of that is because he's young. But like he said, I'm going in my third year. I'm not a rookie anymore. So he sort of put the target on his back. Now it's his time to sort of shine and produce. But again, he is still connected to Howie Roseman, and his responsibility is to put the best talent around Jalen Hurts so that he can be successful.
And I want to ask you too. This not since we're on the subject of Jalen Hurts and his development going into year two of this offense with this coaching staff, majority of these players, pieces around him, things like that. And we've talked about this before on this show, so I already kind of know how AK and Vic feel about this. But do you guys think that maybe Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson that relationship has kind of reached its peak as far as where Brian where Brian Johnson can take him in his development? Maybe their relationship's a little too close in regards to really getting the most out of Jalen, really pushing him as hard as he can be pushed and things like that. So, Mucci, I want to hear from you first on that. What do you think? Is there a possibility that that our quarterback coach is maybe holding back Jalen's development?
Um, I mean, I'm not too sure because again, I even had problems with him being in the offense like that because, again, I used to say, well, what if you put another quarterback in and do the same play? And after what I've seen, but then again, they was playing against a bad team. They was playing against the New York Jets when who was the other quarterback that got in
Minshew,
there?
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, when Gardner Minshew got in there, it was all fun. He was just throwing like it was nothing. And again, it felt like Hurts was on the sideline like Carson Wentz was when Jalen Hurts was in there. And then when I mean it was preseason, but when Joe Flacco when he got in and he threw the touchdown to JD Arcega-Whiteside, I mean I was so excited. Like, what's going on? Like, why? How come Hurts? How come Jalen can't develop like these other quarterbacks in the pocket? But then again, like you said, every time he reads his first read, he goes off that and don't look for a second or third, and he'll just go off and run. So, as far as with him and Brian, I mean, he was a nice quarterback back in the day. I mean, he like I don't know. I mean, as far as relationship being too close, I mean, he knew his father. They all like family, just like Dak Prescott. Like they all, got the same flow of things. But I mean, I think they should be fine. But like I said, it's all about the offensive coach and Nick Sirianni. If they go back and look at all the game plays of Jalen Hurts, they need to see, all right, this doesn't work. Let's fix this. Let's go back into his college days. Let's see what he did there, and let's bring that into the offense, and let's see if he can get it together so he can have a better year. So that's how I look at it. I mean, other than that, I mean, you could be friends all day, and it's just about how do Brian. It's about how after Jalen Hurts deal with a play, and after if he fails, I see how Nick Sirianni says something like get into his face or get in his ass like he should, and Jalen Hurts just walk off and just be like, all right, man, I know I'm gonna hear it, but do Brian do that? Do Brian say, listen, man, you got to do this, you got to stop looking after your first read, don't run the ball. Look at your second and third, then run if you got to, or just throw it out of bounds. But I get it. You try to make something happen, but if you don't see something, just throw it out of bounds so you don't get sacked or whatever, what have you. You know what I'm saying? So he just got to do better. The production got to be better, and if they got to be more better talking to, just like with me and Pablo, there's certain things that I feel like I'm relaxed, but he will tell me after the show, yo, bro, this, that, and the third. I'm not all right, cool. You know what I mean? Bet I'll do better next time. Or do you think that's a better? Cool, I'll do that. I'll even say the same thing. Well, what is this an idea? And he'll be like, yo, that's thorough. I like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about discussion. It's all about how you put things together and just do better next time. So that's how I see it.
100.
Yeah, man, this is a very it's intriguing, man. This topic, on Jalen Hurts and his relationship as it relates to the quarterback coach, Brian Johnson. For me, I don't see a problem with their relationship. Especially in Philadelphia, you need your guy, that you can lean on. You need your guy that's not going to turn his back on you. We all know Carson Wentz's guy was Frank Reich, right? And so he even ran to Frank Reich and, wanted him to coach him again. And now we see his situation. I think the biggest thing is, the NFL, man, it's a microwave league. And I think the person I sort of blame for that is Patrick Mahomes, man, because when he got drafted in the NFL, he took off. And now everybody is like, oh, man, we need that young quarterback that can be an MVP kind of player the moment he steps foot in the NFL. And I think the reality is that's not the case. I come up from an era where, Donovan McNabb and, his offensive coordinator, they were together for 5-10 years. They figured it out. You know what I mean? Nowadays is just all right. If he's not good the first or second year, we're going to move off of him. And I just think that doesn't work. For me, when I look at Jalen Hurts, it's not really about Brian Johnson. And the great thing about Jalen Hurts is this: he can handle Philadelphia, right? Brian Johnson can hold Jalen Hurts no higher than Jalen Hurts is going to hold Jalen Hurts to. That's what you got to love about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is going to hold himself to a higher standard than his quarterback's coach. That's why when Nick Sirianni, we see him on the TV tape where he's yelling and getting it, getting on to Jalen Hurts. That's why he can handle it. Right. That's why Carson Wentz couldn't handle it, because Carson Wentz's standards, his personal standards, wasn't as high as the people around him, the coaches around him. Right. So that is the thing I think we need to focus on, the fact that, wow, man, we have a young 23-year-old kid who's playing in Philadelphia, who can stand toe to toe to the media. Right. And who can take accountability, bro. Just look me in the freaking eyes as a man. This is why Carson Wentz is on his third team, bro, because he cannot take accountability, right? It doesn't matter who your quarterback's coach is. If you can't be coachable, if you can't take accountability, you're not going to be here. And I think Carson Wentz taught us that. So I'll just say that I'm okay with the relationship between Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson. I just think, honestly, I think Nick Sirianni is sort of hindering Brian Johnson in a way, because Brian Johnson can't call offensive plays. All he can do is get Jalen Hurts together, right? So, I think at the end of the day, Nick Sirianni, he's going to have to do some growing too, right? So we look at these players, right? We look at these young players, and we're so quick to just toss them away. But now we have to get to a point and sit up here and say, all right, head coaches, what the hell are you doing to help my guy out? So, we'll see how it matriculates moving forward.
Yeah. I kind of feel I agree with a lot what you're saying, but at the same time, with the relationship between Hurts and Johnson, I think that's great because they've known each other for so long. That part I'm not upset with or do I care for because that's something between them. We don't know them personally. But it's the working relationship that I want to know because, again, like you were mentioning with Carson Wentz, when he had his guy, he wasn't playing as well. When he had a guy like Dave Filippo, who he was always butting heads with, that's when he was playing his best. Like you said with Jalen, Johnson won't expect more than what Jalen is. Jalen's already expecting so high. But I want that guy that's expecting more than what Jalen is, that's constantly pushing it. I don't know if Johnson's doing because we don't know that relationship. But it's just like we said before. Once you're at a certain point with someone and you've gotten everything you can, all the knowledge you could from that person, it's time to move on to someone else to get another perspective. You understand what I'm saying? Like I think that's where we're at with that. Yeah. But we don't know what the team's thinking of. We don't know what's going on in the back. Like you said, Johnson isn't calling plays. But I think for their relationship as in the NFL for working relationship, I think it would be best to move on because you're going to want to bring someone else to give Jalen Hurts a different perspective on the game.
Yeah. That's a great take. What I want to say to that, just a little rebuttal, is I just think that in that situation, Jalen Hurts is accountable. You know what I mean? Like you have to be disciplined with that. It's one thing. It's almost like getting hired by somebody that you know. You know what I mean? Carson Wentz is going to get hired and just lollygag around, show up late. Jalen Hurts is going to come in, tuck shirt, speaking the right way, doing the right things. You know what I mean? And take his job seriously, right? And then also remember that Brian Johnson tried to recruit Jalen Hurts to Mississippi State before he did, Dak Prescott. So he knew his potential. He saw everything that Jalen Hurts went through at Alabama. He saw him get benched, right? He saw him, do well at Oklahoma. So I just don't think that we can look at Brian Johnson and say that he's the problem when your head coach clearly is not even making competent choices until halfway in the season. I'm not going to blame the quarterback coach until I hold the head coach responsible first, because it starts with the head coach.
It does, but how much of that could be the reason why he wasn't doing those competent play calls? Because he didn't have trust in his quarterback to call those plays, because he knew that's something that he wouldn't be able to handle right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that has to go into play too.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Or was he putting too much trust in his quarterback, being that he may have been getting some pressure from the front office to, like the comment said earlier, to try to run more of a Kansas City type of offense, throwing the ball all the time. What was it?
In the beginning of the season, they weren't throwing it a lot. It was a Jalen Hurts show for the first 3-4 games, and then they dialed it back, and that's when we all said maybe that's just Sirianni going back and saying, let's reevaluate and see what he can handle, because apparently we're throwing too much at him right now.
Yeah, and this is the thing too, and all of that was great takes. I think we need to let's think about this, right? So quarterback coaches in the NFL, they go quick. You think about John DeFilippo, right? 1 year with Carson Wentz, gets head coaching job with the Chicago Bears, right? The thing about Brian is so hard to push your quarterback without being able to truly put him in the best position. Because you can say, hey, Carson, you need to drop back 5 steps and then make the pass right there. But if you can't call the exact play that's going to align with what you're telling him to do, it's not going to work. And so I think what we're saying is we need to really see Nick Sirianni build his relationship with his assistant coaches better, because it's not where it needs to be. Because if you don't know until the halfway of the season to run the ball, like how can you really blame Brian Johnson? That's just my thing. But Victory, I think that's a great point, and I'll definitely look at that and study that perspective for sure.
And you gotta remember, Brian Johnson, he was going to get they almost offered him a job over at Green Bay to be offensive head coach too. So obviously they seen something in him. But and then with the offense, remember he was always a shotgun formation. Where once they put him under center, he started making accomplishments. And then after that, you don't see him under center no more. Because remember, everybody kept saying, "Why is he not under center?" But soon as again, once he's out the game, and Gardner Minshew get under the quarterback, I mean under center, he was making plays. So, I mean, I just don't know. Like, if you want to put your promise into Hurts, like make him be great. Just understand him before y'all just throw him out there and just have him do whatever. And like you said, front office is saying this, that, and the third. I mean, I'm still shocked that Howie Roseman had full control about all of this. Again, I've said this before. Why is the general manager, he's so into the team when it should be the head coach that he should be saying what he wants. It's all about the head coach because at the end of the day, he's the one that's standing out there and because if something happens, it falls on the head coach, not so much as Howie Roseman. Because Howie Roseman is going to look at him and say, look, this is what I gave you. This is what you need to do. Like this is your problem. But once they fall, it's Nick Sirianni's fault. So I mean, the head coach should have some power too.
Yeah, in our situation in Philadelphia, it definitely has played out that way. In other situations, depending on the pedigree of the coach, depending on how long the GM has been with the organization, things like that, it may, play out differently. But I wanted to touch on something real quick. Talking about
real quick. Let me tell you this.
Go ahead, Mucci. Go ahead.
Real quick. How many other teams have you heard those general managers? Like any other team that you would listen to, all head coaches are talking. Not a Howie Roseman. You know what I'm saying? Only us as the Eagles is Howie Roseman. Like we've said, Howie Roseman named more than Nick Sirianni. So who's really coaching this team? You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I mean. Like this is a team effort, and this is all about the coach, like Nick Sirianni. Even if this is his first year, he still should be doing all the talking. He need to go to Howie, especially in an interview. Like what was it in that interview where? Like the whole thing is, if I'm the head coach, how much total control do I get? I only get 25%, so that means and that's why I'm saying, like, who really picked Devontae Smith? Was it really Nick Sirianni because he used to be a wide receiver, or did Howie Roseman really say we need to get this wide receiver? Because other than that, I don't see. And then we got the pick from Dallas, like. I mean, I get it. Like you said, the linebacker. Was we really supposed to get a linebacker? Well, that could be here or there because, like you said, we haven't gotten a linebacker since 1979. But it's like if we never would have switched with
that hurt a lot.
No, but you gotta remember, Devontae Smith.
You said 1979.
Yeah, 1979.
I wasn't even born then. That's my life. That's my whole life. That's more than my whole life. That's crazy.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Devontae Smith was really supposed to go to the Giants. They was screaming that all week until once we got him out. That's how shocked I was. I said, "Oh snap, we got Devontae!" Like it was hard. It was heartfelt, but at the same time, look at what the line. I can't think of the guy's name from the Cowboys. Like, was we really supposed to get a linebacker after we've been talking? Yeah, so was we really supposed to get him? Like, who was we really supposed to get if we never would have traded up with the Cowboys too? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, So that's my take on it. I just don't, like I said, this is Howie Roseman. This is really Howie Roseman team, but he don't know football. Again, I keep telling you, he's a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, we won't know until either tomorrow or what's the next move. And that's nothing. What's the next? Are we getting a wide receiver or are we going after a safety or a cornerback in the free agency too? So it's like now I don't know because we really need to fix this defense. But again, you can get all the right players, but it's all about how you play the defense. I could be Hassan Riddick and be like, all right, bet. Like again, I can get $45 million. But if I don't play right the way how I was playing for the Cardinals and for the Panthers, if I come here and if I play and if I suck, it's not on me. It's not on Hassan Riddick. It's on Jonathan Gannon because he's the defensive head coach. Like that zone, like miss me with that. Just you know what I'm saying? Like, are you blitzing or are you not blitzing? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we playing hard nosed football or am I just standing there backing up and I'm gonna hurt my Achilles tendon? I'm cool with it. Why? Because I got $30 million guaranteed. So
Yeah, true. Hey man, like Howie has a lot to do, but you got to give him, credit. He's been out there willing to do it. At least he's been trying. But the one thing I like is he's not trying to overspend. So you got to appreciate that. A lot of deals that were supposed to be remade, especially with Williams, with Marcus Williams, he didn't want to overspend. Yeah, because you got Tyrann Matthews out there.
Hey,
my fault is on it. I'm just saying I'll give him credit after this draft. After, you know what I'm saying? After this draft, let's see what we got, and we'll see.
I just want.
From there.
I ain't mad at that. You got to wait and see what he does first. This is his contract year.
Hey, I just want Watson to get traded to another team so I can exhale on that whole thing, because when it all boils down to it, Pablo hit on it the nail right on the head. We got a guy in house. When you look at it, this is a very important thing. Accountability. We got a guy in house who we know is accountable. I don't know if I could say that completely about Deshaun Watson. I really don't. I don't know if I could say that.
That's another thing, because if you're already on, like, they already had a meeting saying that Hurts is our guy, and why would you say Hurts is our guy until now that Watson is free? Now we see intel saying we're going after Watson. Like, that wouldn't make sense to me. You already told me I'm the guy, so stick with that. Like I mean, just let's stay focused, because if we was to get Watson, it's like now it's a whole different reset. And then do we still keep Hurts, or do we trade Hurts and have Watson and keep Minshew? Because it makes no sense to keep both quarterbacks. It don't make sense to have Watson and Hurts is taking a back seat. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that definitely won't. Yeah. Go ahead, Philly.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I think Hurts would definitely be part of that deal. So I think he would be gone if that deal go down. Hurts would be going to Houston.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I'm waiting for it to be over too, man, because it's like I kind of get like this feeling like, nah, you just can't get no Deshaun Watson, but it's just like, we got Howie Roseman, it's kind of like,
right?
And then it's like, are the stars aligning? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, Jalen is from Houston, the Eagles, because you gotta understand, the Houston Texans are just not going to give him up. And at the end of the day, the Eagles have, in terms of draft capital, we have the most draft capital, right? So for me, it's almost like it's the trade-off. Like, if this is my thing, this is the question that I ask myself personally: is Jalen Hurts half of what Deshaun Watson is? If he is, you hold on to him, because he's 23, Deshaun Watson is 26. Can Jalen Hurts catch up to Deshaun Watson or be who he is today by 26? All right, so that's how I look at it. I'm not willing to give up those 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson, even though historically, and this is why history really matters, because it really replays itself. The Philadelphia Eagles are that team that quarterbacks go to after some crazy situation has happened. Let's not forget about Michael Vick. The Philadelphia Eagles gave Michael Vick $100 million fresh out of an orange jumpsuit. All right. So we are that team that quarterbacks come to sort of revitalize their career. Right. I just don't know if I'm willing to give up those 3 first-round picks. Listen, if I woke up tomorrow and it said the Philadelphia Eagles, breaking news, have traded Jalen Hurts, 2 first-round picks and 2 seconds for next year for Deshaun Watson, I might not be mad at that. I'm just going to be honest. I may not be mad at it. I just feel like we don't have to go down that route. And I said this last year, this is what I was afraid of. I was afraid that Howie Roseman's draft picks, those draft picks that we have, was going to burn a hole in his pocket. he was going to be a little kid in the candy store, and instead of being disciplined, right, with those picks and building around Jalen Hurts, let me go and try to get the next best thing. This is my thing. You get Deshaun Watson, but he doesn't have a defense. It doesn't matter. You can have the greatest quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. I've been saying that too. You know, it's I've been almost. Give me 1 second, AK. I just wanted to say this real quick. I've been making this comparison. You know, we already have a Mustang ready to go. Nice wheels, nice. You know, we could even soup it up a little bit better, hopefully. But when you bring in Watson, it's going to be like having a Ferrari with no tires, no wheels, just sitting on blocks. It's pretty to look at, but it ain't going anywhere. That's what my comparison right there. Go ahead, AK.
Pablo, I hate that you got me thinking, bro. That was probably the worst thing to do. Okay, so what now scares me is, you know, you look at these trades with some of these teams today that we've heard about: Atlanta, the Saints, Panthers, right? They're trading all in for Deshaun Watson, right? Well, you look at all three of those teams, none of them have a quarterback that they can technically give them. I mean, do you really honestly think Houston wants Matt Ryan? Probably not.
Yep. They would. They would take it for the look.
I don't think so. He's too old. I don't think so. And then you got to look. Panthers have Sam Darnold. No, not after last season. No. And then the Saints literally have no one. Jameis Winston's a free agent, and they have Taysom Hill, but he's no quarterback. You know. And then you look at us. Well, we got Jalen Hurts. We can throw you that. That's something all these other teams can't throw at you. You know, and then you say we got the 2 first, we can throw that at you. That's something else these other teams can't do at you. Why'd you make me start thinking like this? No.
Well,
because we actually have a good quarterback to offer them. Because
let me settle it for you.
If he can
I heard it's going to take 3.
Watson,
He's going to take 3 picks.
Yeah, I'll settle it for you because listen, right now, if we were to make that move,
if he had Hurts in that eliminates the 1 first.
Really?
They might just it all depends. But I'll say this: if the move was made for Houston, it would fall in Houston's plan because A, they would get the draft picks, B, they would get a quarterback for the future. We're not trying to do that. But the thing you got to look at too is Watson already had a meeting with the Eagles. He already turned them down. If Watson wanted to make a move with the Eagles, he'd already done so. Atlanta came out of nowhere. Cleveland came out of nowhere. Did you hear Philadelphia in that mix? All you're hearing is reporters trying to get the clickbait, but let's be honest, there's no substance behind those stories. If Watson wanted to make a move to Philadelphia, the way he's sitting out, because let's be honest, even though Houston got their offers, Watson's in the driver's seat. He's the one with the no trade clause. So it's where he wants to go. He hasn't mentioned, nor has he uttered Philadelphia. That's out the picture.
Yeah, one thing I'll say, though, man, is, you know, when the whole Deshaun Watson situation happened, man, it just was crazy because it seemed like they really, you know, had a really good relationship going on, you know, since they drafted him, you know, but after that coming out and with the whole situation is just kind of crazy. But this is what I'll say, man, if your franchise quarterback is like, yo, I'm walking, you're not going to make it easy. I understand that he has a no trade clause, but I could see the Houston Texans talking to teams like, yo, we want maximum everything that you got. I want the kitchen sink, the broom, the mop, and the apples in the bottom of the refrigerator. Yeah. We want everything. And I understand in Big 3, I respect where you're coming from because I think that is very valid when you say Deshaun Jackson is in the driver's seat. And I do believe he is, but to a certain point. I think that, I don't know, man. I just think this whole conversation is, listen, bro, the next 72 hours, we got to wait and see because we can all say what can happen. But what I will say is this. The story, think about it now. Jalen Hurts, Alabama, leaves his hometown, goes to Oklahoma. Philadelphia doesn't want him. And then the hometown kid returns home. The NFL is always about, you just said it, clickbait. You know, we'll just see if Howie Roseman is going to stay true to his word, period.
I honestly believe that's all it is, just a story. Like I said, you got to read the tea leaves. If this guy wanted to make a move, last year he would have made it. If we were going to make the push, this year we would have already done it because, again, Cleveland came out of left field. There's a whole situation in Cleveland now with Baker Mayfield because of Deshaun Watson. Atlanta,
No. Cleveland was talking about getting rid of Baker Mayfield week 12.
Hold on. I said Cleveland was going to get Baker Mayfield for how long? The TVs were red there, but I'm saying now, Baker Mayfield came back to social media. Why? Because they were talking about getting Deshaun Watson. He broke his silence, his social media silence because of this. Watson carries a lot of weight. Again, no one's making offers to Houston. We're making offers to Watson's camp. That's how it works. It gets filtered through his camp.
Can I piggyback off of Vic 3? And I honestly think he has a very, very valid point, and I'll prove it to you as it relates to the storylines. And to be honest, the NFL is really about clickbait storylining and sort of drawing the fans in. And I think we have to remember that. I think the Cleveland Browns want Baker Mayfield, but they also want him to produce. Why would you trade for Amari Cooper, right? So if you want somebody to produce, especially if they're strong mentally, what you're going to do? You're going to say, "Oh, we're looking into Deshaun Watson," right? Because everybody wants, right? It's a copycat league, guys. It's not that hard. The Cleveland Browns want Baker Mayfield, right? Follow me here. The Cleveland Browns want Baker Mayfield to respond in the same manner that Aaron Rodgers responded when they talked about him moving on for him. That's all this is. Yeah, we're going to try to go get Deshaun Watson, and let's go ahead and ruffle your feathers as a player because we want you to produce at a higher level. Because last year, he didn't really produce in the way I guess Cleveland has come accustomed to seeing him produce. So for me, I just think getting back to Philadelphia, coming back home, it's a tough situation. If Houston, and here's another point I'll make. We have to understand that Jalen Hurts, after his play last year, and it was articles saying it, Jalen Hurts, his trade value is high. So he's not just some guy that the teams are just, he may be a third rounder. No, guys are throwing the first round. I believe guys are throwing a first rounder on Jalen Hurts. A first rounder on Jalen Hurts. So I think they would take a one from this year, one from next year, two second round picks, and a Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? Especially on that contract. So ultimately, we got to see, fellas, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Because like I said, dude, like you got to look at these other trades, man. Houston's giving something away and getting picks, but they're literally getting no player in return to replace until they can fix that position. We're the only team that can offer that. Like Pablo said earlier, if he can even be half of what Watson was, it's a win for Houston. Literally.
Yeah, if you know the Houston ownership, you know what they're about. They're basically Chick-fil-A in the NFL. They're about that family brand. So to bring Matt Ryan in there, for them, that will work. Because look, they were looking at Josh McCown. Why do you think that is? Christian, going fellow, friend of the owner. That's what they like. At Houston, they have an image. Now, I think with Lovie Smith, that hire became the players. They spoke up. They wanted Lovie. So, the ownership was like, listen, if we're going to go forward, we might as well go with him. We can't pick someone who hasn't coached, or like someone like Jonathan Gannon, who they had interest in. He had no experience. You have a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Lovie Smith's been to a Super Bowl. He knows how to carry a team. He's known how to, work an organization. Right now, a lot of the offense that's being run is because of Lovie Smith. We have a two-back running back system because of Lovie Smith. So he's a man with great knowledge when it comes to football. So it'd be a no-brainer not to get him. And that's why, they had to make that team. They had to make that move. The team spoke up, which was deservedly so. They should have. But Houston likes that image of, Matt Ryan, he has his status. He sells tickets. That's another thing, too. You have to look at it. This is a business. They need to keep that money coming in.
You're right. This is a business. But if I am Lovie Smith at my age and just starting out my first year as a head coach, I'm not betting my freaking franchise and my future on a 38-year-old quarterback. I'm not
the best quarterback he's ever had, though. Let's be honest.
No, it's no.
Name his quarterbacks right now.
He had Jay Cutler in the Super Bowl.
I don't think he had Jay, did he?
Yeah.
Rex Grossman took him to the Super Bowl.
Well, Rex Grossman. He had Rex.
The Jay Cutler interception machine.
I'll say this, man. I'll say this. You know, we all know what's going on in Houston, right? We know about that owner. We know about that franchise. Right now, Houston is, you know, the whole Houston, we have a problem, right? They really have a problem there. And when you look at Jalen Hurts' character and the leader that he is the perfect quarterback and the perfect person to change that entire franchise around. If you're going to move forward, it has to be behind a quarterback that team can get behind. If you're going to take Deshaun Watson from me, you had better place him with somebody else that can, you know, that I'm going to buy into. I think Matt Ryan, to both of you guys' point, Matt Ryan is more of a bridge quarterback, obviously his age and all of that. I just don't know how you sell the team Matt Ryan after getting Deshaun Watson. I think they got to move swiftly. Like, it's either going to be Jalen Hurts or it's going to be one of these quarterbacks, Malik Willis, somebody like that. It has to be a young guy that this team, this fan base can grow with. Not to say that they wouldn't make the move, or not to say that Matt Ryan is not the right pick for them, because hell, I mean, they actually, Texas, they were making some noise last year. Obviously, they just didn't have the roster, but it's just hard for me as a fan. Like, I'm trying to put myself in a Houston Texans fans' shoes. It's like, okay, how long are we supposed to be rooting for Matt Ryan? You know, that kind of thing. So, you know, we'll see.
Like, think of it this way, Vic. You get rid of Jalen Hurts tomorrow for Matt Ryan. Are you going to be doing the whoop-de-whoop? I'm not.
Hell no.
No, but that's one of the things that everyone in the league knows, that Houston isn't in a position to demand very much anything. That's the thing. Like, the league basically, they're positioning what's going on with Watson with what they want. Again, I said it before. We play into their hands with our picks and with the possibility of a quarterback. But I'm not trying to help them out in any way, because I think the storyline should be a kid who was, you know, doubted by a fan base, who had some backing, who was looked at as probably couldn't be a developing quarterback that can develop, and then shows out in year 3 and becomes possibly maybe an MVP candidate. That's what I'm hoping. That's the storyline that I'm hoping for.
I'll say this.
Oh,
go ahead, AK.
Oh, well, all I was going to say is, well, listen, man, I do not get me mistaken. I do not want to trade Jalen Hurts. I want him to play. I'm just saying I know how Howie is, and I know how Howie feels about Watson.
Yeah.
I mean, he's balls to the wall for this kid. So, you know, I think with that, I'm thinking logically. I'm putting my fandom aside, and I'm just thinking pure knowledge football. And it would not surprise me. Like, we've been quiet for 2 fucking days, dude, and we have cap room. Yeah, granted, we were outbidded on some things, but come on, man. Some of those things you could have went the extra little bit, you know, but you didn't. Why didn't you? You know, like there's things you got to think about. And being quiet for 2 days with the cap room that we have, that makes me wonder a little bit. It really, truly does. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
but here it is. But Pablo, bro, you got to remember, didn't we say this a couple weeks or months ago when we was like, what if we did get Deshaun Watson? Me and you, we was both like, hey, we might be. We both agreed. We said, I mean, he got the better arm. He can throw to the point where he got better accuracy. So, and now that he's innocent, his capital that he gained everything back. Now he can say, like you said, Vic, or he didn't say that he wanted to come to Philly. But if Houston, Texas want to give him to us for whatever we give back, I mean, I don't think because he wants to leave. And my next question is, if he don't leave, will he play for them this year? I'm talking about the Texans.
Yeah, no,
so
he's
he'll just
definitely
stay
not.
out.
Lovie Smith got that idea already.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
He said his future will be somewhere else.
I will say
Lovie
this,
Smith
though.
said that? The head
On
coach
Pat McAfee's show, he said he has a bright future, but it will be somewhere else.
Yep.
Wow.
That automatically makes his trade value go down a little bit, though.
But that's what I'm saying. Houston has no upper hand. Watson has the keys to everything because he has the no trade call. He decides everything. He's already turned us down. We've already asked. We've asked for a dance to the party. He said
I just want you to realize, bro, it ain't over until that tweet
that
comes out saying he signed somewhere else. Okay.
Oh yeah, believe me, I get it. It's gonna be hard to get that yes.
the thing is, I want Hurts. I'm fine with that because again, Howie
Yeah.
Roseman and Nick Sirianni already stood there and said Hurts is our guy. So
Yep.
because you said that, we sticking to that. Don't stop with all that. The Eagles is in the office. The
Yeah.
rumors, you know what I'm saying? Don't be in the office trying to get Watson. If like we already got Hurts down, so
I
let's keep
will.
it at Hurts and getting better. That's all.
I will say this: Deshaun Watson. Like let's say hypothetical really quick before we move off this topic. Let's say hypothetically the Eagles traded Jalen Hurts, 2 of our first round picks this year, 2 seconds and a third from next year, right? Like if you can keep a first round pick this year, if you can get a starter plus a franchise quarterback, that's better than 3 first round picks. I just want to say that. If you can get a franchise quarterback like Deshaun Watson, and you can keep a first, even if it's one guy, if it's a N'Kobe Dean, if it's a Devin Lloyd, a Derek Stingley Jr., a franchise guy and a superstar, one superstar is better than 3 guys. I want to say this too. I want Jalen Hurts, but this is what I know. If you bring Deshaun Watson to Philadelphia, he is able to cover up a lot of Nick Sirianni's poor coaching, a lot of his play calling. That is what you're going. That's what you're trading for, because we're sticking with Nick Sirianni. Jalen Hurts, because he's a young guy, he's building with Brian Johnson, he's building with Nick Sirianni. There's another offensive coordinator that calls plays. I mean, I guess they split time, and I don't even understand that. So how do we expect Jalen Hurts to actually develop as a decent quarterback if one half of the season he's listening to Nick Sirianni, then half the season he's listening to somebody else? So it doesn't even make sense there. But if the Philadelphia Eagles got Deshaun Watson and kept the first round pick, that's better than 3 first round picks. I want to stake Jalen Hurts. I've always been a huge Jalen Hurts guy. But if we got Deshaun Watson, I just believe that he would be able to cover up a lot more than Jalen Hurts at this point.
He might even be able to make Rager look decent.
Let me ask a question though. If we were to make that move, what's the timetable on the Super Bowl now? Now you got to accelerate it. Now we're not rebuilding.
No, you don't. You don't have to accelerate it. He's 26, bro. He's got like 10 fucking years. If he gets a Super Bowl in 2 or 3 years, I'm satisfied.
Hold on. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. So your timetable would be 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, oh, of course. It's 2 to 3 years right now as we stand. All you need to do is just get some defensive pieces and some offensive pieces over the next 2 years, bro, and we should be competitive. With
Hurts or with Watson, we're still 2 years away. He doesn't.
2 to 3 years out, yes. Realistically, yes. If we have a really good draft this year and we hit on our first 3 picks, we hit on our second and our third and blah, 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 and then next year we come out and we hit those picks too, yes, we are 3 years out. Of course, yes.
No, but my question is, if we're, same timetable for both quarterbacks, what's the point of making the move? You're losing capital.
No, I understand that. Me as a fan, I understand that. I'm just telling you, logically, you just got to remember how he is a type of person to make that type of move.
I thought that's what you were saying. I thought that's what you were saying.
I know. Either way, we're only 3 years out. With either quarterback, you're only 3 years out. Because realistically, Watson can only do so much with Rager and Watkins and Smith his first year, if it would be this year anyway, because you wouldn't be able to pretty much get anyone else if you got Watson because of the cap hit. You'd be pretty limited at that point. So you'd have to go in with the offense pretty much the way you have already, except for what you get in the draft, right? So you'd be limited, but the year after that, shit, you're free to go. You know what I'm saying? So
I think the reason why, Howie Roseman, if I could jump in really quick, is
go for it.
If the reports are true, I think the reason why he's so gun-ho on Deshaun Watson is because Deshaun Watson is a sure thing. He is as sure as gold, okay? Like, he's a sure thing. I think Howie has some insecurities, man. I think he really does. I don't think he believes that he can make these picks. I think he's running. I think he's pulling the Carson Wentz, bro. I really do.
Well, you don't think he's going to allow the coaching staff, because that's what's been talked about. He's going to allow the coaching staff to have more say. Well, last year, Nolan Williams wasn't really a Howie pick. That was a Gannon pick. That's what there was a contention about. When we saw the fist bumping and Donahoe wasn't about that life, it was because that was the Gannon pick for Williams. So we've seen, if that is true as they're reporting, Howie has lent himself to the coaching staff and allowing them to pick. This year, they're set to open that up a little bit more.
But remember, that's a 4th round pick. We're talking about 1st round picks.
Hey, like we just said, though, that 1st round pick could have possibly been Nick Sirianni. So we are saying the coaching staff is picking these players.
Well, Pablo, tell me if you heard this rumor. I heard a rumor from a pretty reliable source of mine, at least, and many of us know him, that J-Jaw was actually a Moorhead pick, and Reagor was Jeffrey Lurie's son.
Really for Hills.
Yeah, no lie. This is true fact. I've heard it. That were the 2 people who picked those guys. Moorhead picked JJ, and Jeffrey Lurie's son picked Reagor. If that is the case, that is fucking wrong. Why is Moorhead picking, and why is the son of our owner picking? No. You know what I'm saying?
If that's the case, why is Moorhead still here?
Right.
That's kind of my point.
No more.
That's why I was shaking my head, because
I think the case, he wouldn't be my son no more. Like,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
But that is a true honest rumor and something from a valuable source that happened. And if so, that's just wrong. No.
Wow.
Yeah, that would if that is true, and honestly, it sounds like it, man. And the reason why I say it sounds like it could be true is because, out of the Eagles, and I think as fans, we gotta tell the truth, bro.
Mm-hmm.
When the Eagles won a Super Bowl, everybody got big-headed, man. You win one Super Bowl, and now you deserve to, be in the dance every single year. And it's just like Jeffrey Lurie got big-headed, Howie Roseman got big-headed, Doug Peterson's writing books. He's an author now. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like I could definitely see it.
Foles is going on talk shows.
Yeah, I mean, guys are on talk shows. Corey Clement, he's on the Steve Harvey show. I mean, guys are just everywhere, bro. Like,
Peterson writes a book.
Everybody, you know what I mean? It's crazy. So, listen, I want to ask you guys a question, and tell me your thought about it. Like, if the Eagles were to make this move, and a lot of people know how big I'm on Derek Stingley Jr. I understand the injury concerns, but this kid he's a top 5 pick every single day of the week. And, if you really look at him on tape, he's a freaking technician. You know what I mean? Like, when you have Patrick Peterson, right, and we know how great he is, right, come out and say, Derek Stingley is the next best player that to come from LSU. That's like saying a lot, right? So here's my thing. I'm 29, right, and growing up, I know Howie Roseman likes to put a lot of emphasis on the defensive front, right? The defensive line, Fletcher Cox and those guys. But honestly, I don't know if the Eagles was maybe Reggie White days, right? Maybe those days, right? But I don't know if that's really the case. The Philadelphia Eagles were a problem in the NFC East for the Cowboys, for the Redskins at the time, for the Giants, when we had a secondary, right? When you had Brian Dawkins, when you had a Lito Shepherd, when you had a Troy Vincent, when you had a Shelton Brown, when the Eagles had 2 lockdown cornerbacks, all right? That's when we really experienced success, because people had to really, you had to have some bona fide wide receivers to even compete with the Eagles, right? And so here's my thing. I know we know and love Darius Slay, right? But much like Fletcher Cox, right? He's a little older, right? He's on the wrong side of 30 in football years. 30 is still young, right? He's on the wrong side of 30 in football years. Here's my thing. If you have an opportunity, because we have 3 first-round picks, if you have an opportunity to move on and add bona fide pieces in that secondary, why don't the Eagles just say, go ahead and get – you got growing up, we had Sheldon Brown and we had Lito Shepherd. What if the Eagles went into this year with Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley Jr.? You want to talk about shoring up a secondary? Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley Jr., right? And honestly, I think that the NFC East is actually it's really the Eagles for the taking. You know what I mean? Because the Cowboys, they suck now. I don't know what just happened. When you lose Amari Cooper, I mean, they lost a ton of like X factor players. You lose Amari Cooper, you
Randy
lose
Gregory
Wilson,
defects.
you lose Connor Williams. Like they lost a lot of people. The Commanders, they have freaking Carson Wentz. We know what he's all about, right? The New York Giants, they still can't figure it out. So I think that the Eagles, this is our prime time to really do something very bold, but something that's going to set us over the top. Because I'll tell you this, the Philadelphia Eagles can draft a linebacker, wide receiver, but you play the Bengals in the Super Bowl again, okay, if they make it. You play the Rams. If you don't have cornerback play, you will not win, because the league is trending in such a way where teams, they don't care about just having one wide receiver. They want 1, 2, 3, 4. They want 5 studs. And now it's smart. It's very smart, because they're saying, you know what? If your third cornerback is a practice squad guy and another guy, he's going to be going against my first round guy. It just makes sense, right? So I said all that to say, you know, if the Eagles were to get 2 bona fide cornerbacks, I think we would get back to the Eagles of old, where we could actually push and challenge teams and actually start putting fear in these offenses.
Listen, I like that. I really do like that. If we were to do that, I would do that in what we got, 15, 16, and 19. If that's the case, I would get Garner, I would get Stingley, and then I would for the 19th pick, I would get a linebacker, and instead of I get it, but instead of Dean, I would actually go for, because Dean probably already be gone. Me personally, I would probably, well, if he's there, but me personally, I probably would go after Christian Harris. Christian Harris
that's
from
reaching.
Alabama.
You're reaching.
Listen. All right, well, no, that's all right, but what I'm saying is that's an Alabama, and you don't know, you know, he got fellow Alabamas with Eagles already. I'm trying to tell you, sometimes you never know. You can have a diamond in the rough to the point where when you get somebody, that's the same thing that they said about. Oh man, I forgot his name again, from the linebacker from
Michael Parsons.
From they didn't know that he was going to be balling like that. Honestly, they really didn't know he was going to be doing that. That's my whole point of saying, what if he was to come to the Eagles and he was to do that? Or he probably wouldn't have done that, because again, we got John Buchanan. But that's a good point, Pablo. I would definitely do that. I would definitely grab them, because that makes a lot of sense. Either have them both play, or just have one sit out for a year just to get the understanding, and you know what I'm saying, and ball out next year. But because within 2 years.
Yeah, Vic 3, my thing is a question for you, like, what after Darius Slay, who do the Eagles have, bro? Tay Gowan?
Hey, yeah, listen, I love Tay Gowan, you know, that's my guy, but yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I would love to get either one, Sauce or Stingley. The thing is, will they be able to fall to 15? That's the big question. If they do, by all means, I think you have to get them, because, like, I think with the signing of Ridgeway, it kind of opens you up a little bit the first round. With me, I personally felt that you go with Georgia's defensive line, you go hard. Walker, Wyatt, Davis. I think those are the 3 guys. If they were on this team, great. If you can get one, awesome. If you can get more than one, you're in the good. But now when you have Ridgeway, you know, you have part of the line taken care of. So you may not have to go for a defensive end. You may want to, you still go that direction, but you have 15 and 16. So you have that block right there. If one of those cornerbacks are available, I wouldn't be mad at, you know, us getting either one of them. Also, we have to look at the linebacker position. We talked about it before. It's not Howie's thing, but this might be the year that, you know, with Devin Lloyd, if he's available, if you got a cornerback, make that move. Get that cornerback, get that linebacker, and then get a defensive lineman, whether it's that or a defensive end. Those moves in the first round would help our defensive mess. But yeah, focusing on Stingley or Gardner, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to my point was, you know, don't be afraid to go get 2 guys that you want, as opposed to settling with 3 guys that you're okay with. If you can get 2 superstars, right? 2 superstars, like 1 superstar is better than 3 average guys. You know what I mean? And so I'm saying, like, yeah, we have 3 first-round picks, and I think that's, as a fan, it's like, okay, we're going to get somebody. We got 3 first-round picks. We're going to get 3 guys. What I'm saying is, what if we pivot from that thinking just for a second to say, okay, if I have superstars, like for me, if I'm the general manager, I'm telling y'all what I'm doing. I'm going to get Kayvon Thibodeau, and I'm getting Derek Stingley Jr., period. I'm getting that defensive line right, and I'm getting a stud. I'm getting a stud on defense, on the defensive line, and the stud in the secondary. You know what I mean? So again, we'll see. But I do want to just throw this out there because this is legit real. I had a dream last night that the Eagles traded up, and we took Kyle Hamilton, the safety. I just want to put this out there.
I love your dream, by the way. Love your dream. But let me ask you a question. Let me ask you both a question because we've discussed it on this show. We've discussed this on the show before. If Stingley was available, say at 10, do you move up to get him?
Hell yeah, because all it takes is listen. I would take draft capital from this year, but it doesn't make sense to. I'll take a second or a third from next year's draft and go get Derek Stingley to get Derek Stingley Jr. Look, a lot of people. Let's just tell the truth, right? We have a PTSD problem. Post PTSD problem in Philadelphia. 1, because of Carson Wentz, and 2, because of Sidney Jones. Let's just tell the truth. All right. Yeah. Sidney Jones was supposed to be a bona fide cornerback for us. All right. He had injury. He was injury prone, never turned out right. Derek Stingley Jr. is not, and I repeat myself, is not a Sidney Jones. Number 1, LSU and Washington, they can't even. LSU will blow Washington State out the water. They can't even compete with LSU. I'm telling you that if Derek Stingley falls to, and honestly, I think he's going to fall to 15 just because teams are just a little nervous. He's healthy. Like people have to. He's healthy. He was injured, but he was healthy. It's not. This guy was. Some people had him going number 1 2 years ago. That's how good he was. Number 1 overall. You know what I mean? But because of the injury or whatever, listen, I'm going to give you guys really quick a situation that I feel like I can apply to this. I bought a Honda Accord 2018. It was salvage. I know a lot of people don't like salvage vehicles. It had 42,000 miles on it. A guy got it from Georgia. I live in Maryland. He came up. He showed me the damage. Say, look, man, it's a great car. Da-da-da-da-da. Somebody else probably would have feared for their like, no, look at this and da-da-da-da-da. But I said, you know what? Here's an opportunity to cash in, right? No car note or nothing. All right. I think Derek Stingley is that Honda Accord that could turn into a Bentley. Because let me tell you something. I got that Honda Accord 42,000 miles. That Honda Accord is sitting out front with 80,000 miles on it. The Philadelphia Eagles can't be that team that's afraid to take chances and risks. If the player has shown on tape, listen, he has tape of him in practice locking down Chase.
Yep.
What's Chase?
Jamar Chase.
Yeah, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
How many guys are even close to what he was doing in practice? Okay, I'm just saying, Eagles, let's not be scared. All right, I understand. Let's not be scared, especially if he falls to you. That's all I'm saying.
My guy can't even be an Acura.
Yeah, right.
Well, listen, man, I really like all of that, but unfortunately, if they go out and they get like a Patrick Peterson or something like that, or another Band-Aid corner like we did with Nelson last year, they're probably not taking a corner in the first round.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just saying. So this is the way I've always looked at free agency, and I'm still going to look at it that way. Now at 15, I'm taking either like a Jobu, Karloftis, Walker if he's there, one of these edge guys. All right, and then at 16, no other than Jordan Davis himself. Like he's
Jordan Davis gonna be gone before then.
Hey, if he is, he is. But there's a chance he could be there, and if he is, I'm taking him. Like that's somebody I'm not letting go. And then
I like it. I like what you're saying.
And then at 19, man, listen. I know a lot of people have us taking a wide receiver in the first round. Again, I don't like that one, but if that happens at 19, it is what it is. But me, I would go probably linebacker there, or I would go with Elam. But yeah, I'm going defense all 3 picks. In this,
Yeah.
100%.
I went Christian.
I wouldn't even mind. I know a lot of people are shedding this one off. Some people say it's too early, but for me, I'm a Penn State kid. I know what this kid's going to be. Dude, I might even take the chance on having Brisker at 19.
Woo!
Wow.
That's rich.
A lot of faith. That's a lot of faith.
That's rich.
Yeah, this kid, he's a dominant force, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Brisker, he can play some football, bro.
Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah, he is. I actually watched his tape. I like him. So the 2 cornerbacks I gave you, that's sort of like my dream scenario. But if I want to give you guys my logic scenario, right, for my 3 first round picks. If I was a general manager at 15, I would go all 3 defense. Number 1, I would go David Ojabo, because I would go David Ojabo.
Yes.
You think I would go David Ojabo? I would go Jordan Davis, and I would go Devin Lloyd. Now you think about a defensive line that has David Ojabo, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Hassan Ridgeway, Javon Hargrave, Josh Sweat. Is too much.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stop it. You have to have the best offensive line. You pair a 6'6" freak of a man, Jordan Davis, with Fletcher Cox, and this is why I feel like we have to hold on to Fletcher Cox, because if Howie Roseman was doing his job, you would have it to where you would have a Brandon Graham situation and a David Ojabo situation. I have to sort of point out Mucci Robinson on this, because he was sort of coaching me up on this, on just the relationship of how much value it brings to this team. Mm-hmm. Brandon Graham went to Michigan. David Ojabo went to Michigan. Brandon Graham wore 55. David Ojabo wears 55 as well, right? So if you have a veteran, it's okay if your veteran like Brandon Graham isn't like playing at his peak level. But if he can go in and give you 20 snaps a game, that's all you need, and then allow the young guy to come in and sort of spare him, every few snaps. The Eagles need to do the same thing with Fletcher Cox. Mm-hmm. Fletcher Cox is 30, 31. Now that's how the NFL worked back in the days, guys. Guys, they would literally allow guys to come in and learn and sit behind, and then allow them to rotate. So for me, man, Hassan Ridgeway on one side with Josh Sweat on the other side, and David Ojabo with Brandon Graham coming back, and Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis and Javon Hargrave and Devin Lloyd. Good night. You just can't stop it, okay? You can't stop it.
I have been preaching that for months, Pablo. I'm
telling you.
I'm telling you, listen, I have watched film on Jordan Davis. I have been preaching Jordan Davis. How long has this been, Vic? 3 months now? Jordan Davis?
Yeah.
Listen, I have been preaching this kid. I was like, he's fast. He's powerful. He's basically a Jordan Mailata on the defensive line instead of the offensive line, and I was like, he's just a freak athlete, right? And then this kid comes out and he runs a 4.8 40. That's remarkable. I watched this kid take on a triple. I watched this kid take on a triple team in college and still tackle the halfback behind the line. You're not going to be able to triple team Jordan Davis with the defensive line we would give. Like you said, if you had Ojabo, if you had Riddick, if you had BG, if you had Cox and Williams and Hargraves, oh my God, you're not going to be
about Milton. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. You're going to have to single team all these guys. You're not going to be able to double team one person, because as soon as you do, bam, you're done. And that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, I understand people want the secondary, but dude, if you can force that out very fast, and say you go out and get a veteran like Peterson who still has a little game left, or whoever the heck it is, that just gives them that little split second. And then, dude, if you can throw a quarterback off their throw and make them get it out faster than what they want, more than likely it's going to be pretty bad throw, right? Which means better for us. That's what we did in 2017. We forced them to get the ball out.
And that's an awesome take, AK. But here's my only caveat to even what I just said. when you look at the NFL, teams are getting the ball out very, very quick because they have these great wide receivers. And that's our problems. Like, do we really dump all of this defensive line capital when Joe Burrow is just literally going to hike the ball and get it right out of his hands? That is how you beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Just get the ball out of your hands.
Well, yeah, especially when we have our defenders playing, 10, 15 yards off the ball.
Right.
But if you get a guy like Peterson, though, can Peterson not play man coverage press? Can Slay not play man coverage press? When you play man coverage press on these guys, it makes the quarterback hold the ball just a couple more seconds. And that couple more seconds makes a huge difference for a defensive line like we're talking about.
Nah, but I will say this, though. If you saw that tape against Jamar Chase, Stingley can play that man press coverage because he's up on him. He ain't let him go. Yeah, I do agree with you because I do feel, like I said, with us, we don't focus on our linebackers. That's why I feel like we need to focus on our defensive line. For me, like I said before at the top, focus on Georgia defensive line. Like you were saying, Jordan Davis, you got White, you got Walker. If you get those three, that sets up your defense to come. Like you were saying, you can't handle that. You can't handle that limitation with Milton Williams going back there. Then you got Tabar Jackson. You can't handle that. And you got Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham.
Here's the problem, though. And this is why it always goes back to Howie Roseman. We can do all of those moves, but at the end of the day, you have a great defensive front, but you have no linebackers, no cornerbacks, and no safeties. And the Cowboys really exposed the Philadelphia Eagles in the first game of last year because when they ran the ball, all you had to do is get past Fletcher Cox in that first wave. If you can get to TJ Edwards and that our safeties, it was over because those guys weren't tackling. Rodney McLeod couldn't cover. You know what I mean? So for me, we're still in the same situation, and I feel like that's why we can't really – we can, but we shouldn't. We have to – I think, Vic, I think you were saying go defensive line, go linebacker, go cornerback. No, AK, I think everybody was pretty much saying it. Pretty much spread it out. You know what I mean? Because it's like we just have so many holes to it's like, man, we gotta figure it out because – we don't have any safeties, guys. I don't believe in Kayvon Wallace. I don't believe in Rodney McLeod. I mean, he's literally out there on one leg. I mean, come on. And they tried to put him in the whole Malcolm Jenkins, role with the whole, all field and the rights and social injustice and all of that. It's like your play is not even matching Malcolm Jenkins' play. You don't even deserve all of that. So. We got a ton of room to make up, man.
How would you feel about Rasul coming back? Would you be satisfied with that number 2?
Honestly, I don't want Rasul Douglas, because I hate players coming back that we could have just developed. I just the whole narrative of them coming back when we already had them. It's almost like. I'd rather take my loss. Like if I'm dating somebody, I'm married by the way, but if I was dating somebody and I messed up, you know what I mean, and I just didn't treat her right, and I see her with another guy, and then she starts to sort of like bloom, I'm not about to sit there and try to go get her again, bro. I'm just going to take the L and call it a day. I think the Philadelphia Eagles, I think we need to use it as a teaching lesson. It's a teaching moment, okay? Develop players, and I've been saying this from the mountaintop. The Philadelphia Eagles have a player development problem. We cannot develop players. All of a sudden, Rasul Douglas is playing in playoff games, catching interceptions. All of a sudden, Raheem Mostert goes to the 49ers, is looking like a running back 1. All of a sudden, Danny Amendola, right? The Eagles didn't give him an opportunity way back in the day. He goes to the Patriots, and now he's winning championships. I mean – all of a sudden, what's the left tackle guy?
Now, here's what I want you to think about, though, Pablo, and this question was brought to me, too, and it made me think. Okay. Now, Rasul, after he left us, I believe he went to Arizona, practice squad, and then from Arizona, he went to Green Bay. He didn't even make it in Arizona. They didn't even play him. They picked him off the practice squad, and then bam, he blossomed, right? Well, somebody asked me, is it Rasul just finally figured it all out and put it all together, and he finally just blossomed, like you said, because it all just started slowing down for him after everything he's been through, changing teams and learning experiences? Or was it just systematic, the reason why he played really well in Green Bay? Like, he just literally fit that scheme that well.
Well, I think that's a great point, bro. I think that's a great point. To that, I'll say this. The reason why I don't want Rasul Douglas, because then I'll be wasting time. The time that I could have been putting into Tate Gowan, the time that I could have been putting into Zeke McPherson, and all of these guys that the Philadelphia Eagles acquired last year, the one kid from LSU, the cornerback. If I'm going to do that, I'm wasting time. You know, if Rasul Douglas is 27, he's going to be a journeyman. At this point in his career, that's what he is. He sort of blossomed too late. You know what I mean? Yeah, he'll probably stick. He reminds me of a Ronald Darby. Right, you know, we got him. He was okay. You know, he went to Denver, kind of made some plays, but I don't think he just kind of caught on too late. For me, Rasul Douglas is now if Rasul Douglas had a what's the guy we just signed, Hassan Reddick kind of development, where the first 2 years it was like 13th pick overall, but then the next 2 years you get back to back. You got pretty much 23 sacks in over 2 years. If Rasul Douglas had 5 or even 10 plus interceptions, yeah, I would probably look at him. But these plays he's making, coming out of college, he was a ball hog. I mean that was his thing. He can find the football. He just can't cover anybody. You know what I mean? So for me, I would probably stay away. Mucci,
I think he had 3 pick sixes this past year, and he had 5 or 6 interceptions in only half a season because he had.
So my question to you, AK, is okay. Let's bring him back. Let's bring Rasul Douglas back to Philadelphia. If you're Howie Roseman right now, how much do you pay this guy?
Oh, he's cheaper than what you're going to get from most of these other guys for. I believe you'd pay more for Xavier Rhodes than what you would Russell.
Okay.
Because I mean, granted, yes, he had 1 year good this past year, and he was an All-Pro, but that's 1 year. You know, so I'd bring him in for a 1 year prove it deal. You know, I wouldn't lack on the payment because I'm not going to discredit what he just did. You know, he had a stellar freaking year for only playing half the season. You know, he really, really was the saving grace for that Green Bay defense. He really was. You know, so I would pay him accordingly, but I'm not going to overstep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say, because you have to have a Hassan Reddick kind of progression. Like, teams are not going to get. I don't care if you had 10 interceptions. You gotta do it back to back. And Howie Roseman, that's his thing. If you show me you can produce back to back, I'll pay you.
Yeah, well, that's what makes him perfect, because Rasul is a 1 year prove it guy now because of how good he did this past year. Teams are going to look and be like, I wonder if he can continue this.
Yeah, I would consider him. Let me not be naive. I would consider him. You know, I would consider him for sure.
I would say this: buyer beware. Because if you're going to tell me him or Xavier, I'm going to take Xavier. I'm going to take Xavier Rose 9 times out of 10. Hell, 10 times out of 10. Because you got to look at what happened this year with the Packers. They had injuries. Douglas was put in. He was basically back against the wall. I'm going to play my own game. After a while, the coaching staff seen what he was doing and allowed him to do that. What you're not looking at also is how many touchdowns he gave up. Because he was playing that Asante Samuel style, just jumping on the ball. A lot of times he got beat too. That's something that's not talked about. If he comes to Philadelphia, he's going to try to play that same style. That's not going to work. He's going to get beat a lot. Yep, he's going to get beat a lot. It won't work out.
Bro, I can promise you, go back and look. He was not beat that much. I promise. He wasn't.
But again, if it's for the right price, there's nothing out there. You can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
He might have given up 1 touchdown, I think. Like, if that. I think it was 1. And for half the season, that's pretty fucking impressive. For a kid that literally, when he was with us this last year, looked like he didn't know what the fuck was going on. He looked like
if we woke up tomorrow and it was breaking news, the Philadelphia Eagles re-signed Rasul Douglas to a 3-year deal worth $34 million with $15 million guaranteed. I'll probably be a little bit pissed about that. Like, nah, you haven't. You could play 5 games and have 20 interceptions. The thing about it is we drafted Rasul. We know Rasul. He can pull some, veil over somebody else's eyes, but he can't do that to us because we brought him to the NFL, right? The same thing with Carson Wentz. I'm gonna get off Carson Wentz. You guys know I just hate that guy. But
now we got to talk about it.
yeah.
Target practice.
Oh no!
Okay. Let's bring this in the light. Then you don't want to talk about Carson
I'm
Wentz.
surprised you ain't breaking.
But we'll turn the tables to this. There is people still out there today that are willing to give Jalen Reagor a chance, who has literally done jack shit. But yet we're not willing to let Rasul come back, who has actually proven he can do something, and just see if he can actually prove more.
Hold on.
Like,
So let me say this because I think it's very important. All right, Jalen Reagor has been a bust up until this point. Will we all agree?
Majorly, yes.
Majorly. Okay. But I won't say that he's done diddly squat. You want somebody that did diddly squat, you got to go back to Marcus Smith, the DN out of Louisville, right? He did diddly squat. He got you 1 tackle for the entire season. Jalen Reagor, he caught some balls, right? He punt return. He has the potential. His mind is just, I don't know what's going on. And I'm not coming to his defense. I'm just saying I think he's done just a little bit more than we want to give credit to him for. I mean, good night. He's done more than we want to give him credit for. I will say this. I will consider Rasul Douglas. Honestly, I have PTSD because here it is. Like Mucci Robinson says, here it is. We got another player that we drafted. We couldn't develop him. He goes somewhere else and he does well. My thing is, AK, I don't want to get burnt. If you want the truth from me, I don't want to get burnt.
Now here's a little stat I want you to know about Reagor, okay? And I threw this one out a while back. There is only 3 wide receivers in the NFL in the first 21 games who are first-round draft picks who got less than 800 yards in their first 21 games. That is Darius Hayward-Bay, Nelson Aguilar, and Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor and Nelson Aguilar both played for us.
Jesus, Howie.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Reagor is not as good as what you think he is. He's the first. He's one of 3. That means there's only 3, period, ever, to get less than 800 yards in their first 21 starts as a first-round pick. No, thank you. Moving on.
Yeah, he's trash. Yeah, he's trash. He's bad. Yeah, you're right. He's trash. He's bad. Good.
I mean,
I tried to save him, but he's trash. This might be his
year, but this could be his year. But like I said, just move him in the slot, see what he can do. Because obviously, I mean, practice ain't everything. It's all about what you do in the game. But like I said, if they change these plays up, and obviously all these players is getting together now. With me personally, if I was Jalen Reagor, I'd be calling up Hurts now and say, "Yo, where you want me to meet?" So we could just start. So you could throw the ball to me, just so I can clear my mind up. And I get it. He lost his friend. His dad used to play for the team. You just gotta evaluate. I mean, if you got to get counseling, you gotta get counseling. Get yourself right. You know how big this opportunity. This is an opportunity for you because you can get cut any day, any moment. Now, again, like you said, we could get a cap hit as far as $5 million. I thought it was 8. I thought I read something saying 8 or 10 million. But don't judge me. If it's 5, it's 5. Just knowing me, if I was him, I would get counseling and still work out and call Hurts up and say, "Yo, where you want me to meet you? Let's throw this ball around so I can, pause."
Bro, it's way more than that, though, man. This kid can't even run a streak route. In the playoff game, he's slap fighting the guy 10 yards down the field just to run a simple straight line. Like, that is something every court – I could do that. At 34 years old, they could give me $200,000 and I can run a fucking streak route. I'm telling you right now. I used to be wide receiver.
AK. So
Like,
we know that Jalen Reagor is trash, but I will say this: we have to admit that Jalen Reagor's first year, he was playing out of position. Doug Peterson, for sure, even admitted, like, but see, there again, we get back to the Philadelphia Eagles. Why are you going to take somebody with the 21st pick overall? You don't know if he even fits your system, right? To me, that's coaching, that's development. But I will say this: we're talking about Rasul Douglas and how we want him to come back, right? If the Philadelphia Eagles, mark my words, if we let go Jalen Reagor, if he goes to a team like the Patriots, he's going to be a superstar. It's not Jalen.
You're absolutely right.
It's not Jalen.
You're absolutely
it's the
right.
system.
But, yeah, exactly.
Can I say something real fast on that? Rebuttal, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I love how you said about that. He was out of position. Okay. Who was the other dude that was out of position?
Nelson.
Avonte Maddox on defense. He played outside. What happened when we moved him into the slot? He was the number one corner last year in all coverage of slot corners at a 72% rate. He was number one. Okay, the best slot corner. So you take Reagor from his unnatural position and you move him to his natural position, and he only gets 200 yards.
Wait. No.
No.
Jalen Reagor coming into you have a great point, but coming into the season, Nick Sirianni said that Jalen Reagor was going to be playing the slot. He lined up 0 times this season in the slot. We all know that Jalen Reagor is a slot guy. He's playing the outside. Jalen never really lined up. If Jalen Reagor was in the slot, it was because he was doing the end around. Jalen Reagor didn't play you may have saw him playing in the slot, but he never was there consistently. Jalen Reagor was on the outside. He's not an outside wide receiver. He is a slot wide receiver. That's what I'm saying. And Nick Sirianni lied to everybody. Oh yeah, the report said it when he was hired. Oh yeah, we're going to make Jalen Reagor a slot guy.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the highlights, bro. I gotta look into this now. I didn't never notice. I really never took notice to it. I didn't.
He always lined in the slot, but he never caught a pass in the slot. He'll probably stand in the slot, but it never went to him. Or like he said,
but that's because there was no confidence in him catching the ball. That's why he never got it.
Yeah.
That's why. I mean, he was Reagor's biggest enemy is himself. His biggest enemy is himself. He is all mental.
But one thing I don't like is his attitude. His attitude, especially when we seen after that New York game, how he just nonchalantly, well, it was a drop. You can't, approach the game that way. You gotta take responsibility for what you did. What you should have been was, that was on me. I dropped the ball. I lost focus. Whatever the case may be, but take responsibility for what you did. If you're not going to take something for, let's be honest, it wasn't that big in the moment. I know AK had that great cut, but for him, that at the moment when he's being asked that question, it's not that big of a thing for him to say, you know what, I dropped the ball, I got to work better. Something like that. Not give the answer or the response that he gave. That kind of tells me where his mind's at, and I don't like that.
Bro, when he sat there after that game and he said, oh, it's only 2 catches, it's no big deal, I looked right at my TV and said, you're a fucking idiot. It's a very big deal. Like, why are you saying that? That is 2 catches that were the most important catches that could have won the game. No, you immediately say, no, dog, I fucked up. My bad. I'm going to the jug machine all week. I'm going to work on this shit, and it'll never happen again. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't come out and say that.
When you look at, and it's funny how the conversation is kind of circling back to how we originally started. When you talk about Jalen Hurts and his relationship as it relates to Brian Johnson and them being young and them growing together. And this is why I said last year, and the Eagles have another opportunity to do it because he was just released. And I know you guys are going to say, no. But the Eagles should have taken a veteran wide receiver like Julio Jones to help Jalen Reagor through the process. If not Julio Jones, scratch the player. I'm talking about the veteran value that you bring into the locker room to help a Devontae Smith, to help a Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor is leaning, he is a second-year player leaning on a rookie in Devontae Smith to learn how to be a pro. That should not be the case. You should already have a veteran wide receiver that can help these guys along. The Eagles are asking these young players to come in, step in day one right away, and be like these. I don't understand. It won't work. You have to have a system in place. You have to have a flow in place. Like, we see football, right? We're fans. We see helmets, jerseys, cleats, gloves, and mouthpieces, right? But these are men inside of these locker rooms. These are guys who are dealing with a lot. And I told everybody, yo, go ahead and get a Julio. All right, go ahead and honestly, even if you brought in a Larry Fitzgerald, listen, okay, let's talk about the NBA for a second, right? You see these players on the sideline. You see a Derek Fisher and all of these guys on the sideline. They're done playing the game of football, but it's just their presence in the locker room, right? And this is why, we started to do it with, when you saw Connor Barr, when he kind of stuck around the Eagles and sort of helped out, the defensive line. But honestly, the Eagles put too much on Jalen Reagor. And I am not coming to his defense. I am just saying what's a fact. We do it all the time. We did it with Nelson Aguilar. We continue to do it with Jalen Reagor. We finally found a bona fide wide receiver in Devontae Smith. And honestly, if it wasn't for his sure talent, he would have been another Jalen Reagor. If he wasn't mentally tough, if he didn't come through the Alabama system, he would have been another wide receiver, the third wide receiver to come to Philadelphia and struggle to produce because we don't have a better wide receiver.
I think that's what you were talking before, and like how you're saying it comes back full circle when you were talking about Howie Roseman and how he's drafted. We've seen in the past where he was taking chances on players, but last year it shifted. He focused on the Alabama players because they're used to winning. They want a winning culture. When he went with Jalen Reagor, he should have looked at what his drive was. We clearly see now there isn't much of a drive. But when you look at how you said, Devontae Smith, one of the reasons why he was so good is because of his drive. We heard it in games. When we lost, he's pissed. He's mad at the coach. Why aren't we running the ball? Devontae put it out there on Twitter. Why aren't we running the ball? He's voicing his opinion. That's the mindset we need to have coming in when we're looking at players, whether it's free agency or whether it's through the draft. That's the type of player we need to have. And I think that's the mindset we need to go looking forward. That's what Howie needs to do. But everyone we had in the past, kind of like what AK said, it's when you have that mentality from that Doug Peterson era, because that's where a lot of it comes from. You got to start cleaning house. You got to get that mindset out. And Reagor's one of those guys because, we do need a veteran receiver because I think that's one of the reasons why Ward was kept because he is the veteran receiver for us. That's one of the reasons why most likely he was kept. But we do have to look elsewhere. We have someone, like I said, an Allen Robinson, someone who's been a constant professional through it all. Whatever happened in Chicago, he didn't voice his displeasure. He stayed quiet, and he showed that you come to work every day. That's someone that we need to show these young guys what to do. And I think with a receiver like Smith, that would only help his game out immensely.
Yeah, I'll say this just really quick. If Greg Ward, and I love Greg Ward, but if Greg Ward is your veteran wide receiver, you're in some trouble.
I agree. 100%.
That's why a guy like Emmanuel Sanders makes sense, because like you said, Pablo, put the abilities on the field now aside because he is getting older. That veteran leadership is invaluable. It really is, and it's something we've been lacking heavily, especially in the wide receiver room.
Yeah, because you'll have Julio to sit up there and say, yo, Jalen, nah, I was watching your presser on the phone just 30 minutes ago. That ain't it, brother. No. That's not how we carry our – because now even though Julio is older, he'll come in. That becomes Julio's room, right? And if you really read the narrative of all of our wide receivers, everybody was saying, even Devontae Smith, oh yeah, we're young and everybody knows how to be a leader, and everybody is stepping up and we pick each other up. No, we don't need no pick each other up. We need a Julio Jones to come in here and say, all right, young guys, you guys got some talent, but let me show you how this shit goes. Really? Yeah. I mean, because I'm getting tired of it, man. Let me show you how this goes, so you guys don't have any more excuses. And we can go ahead. That's what Jalen Hurts did. He did it to Carson Wentz. All right, my guy, I know you're mentally soft, but let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to handle the media. Let me show you how to bounce back. All right. And I know we're about to wrap it up here because we're coming up on 2 hours, but I'll say this last thing about Carson Wentz, okay? I hate Carson Wentz. I'll say this. Aaron Rodgers, the way Aaron Rodgers responded to the Packers drafting Jordan Love is how Carson Wentz should have responded to the Philadelphia Eagles drafting Jalen Hurts. Aaron Rodgers said, okay, cool. You guys want to draft this guy? Okay, let me just win MVP so you can just really waste your time. You know what I'm saying? That's all they did. But Carson Wentz, he didn't have the mental fortitude. You know what I mean? He just doesn't really have it. You know what I mean? And so for me, I think with all this being said, guys, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are in a beautiful, beautiful place. If we all can just play our parts, like AK said, like Philly Foothill said earlier, man, we are in a really, really good spot, man. We have 3 first-round picks. We have capital. There's tons of talent in this draft. I'm really excited. I don't know about you guys, man, but I think the Eagles are – this is the feeling that I get. I don't think we're far away. I don't think we're far away because the one thing that I can take away from the Cincinnati Bengals is this. They did not have a secondary. They had one good player, Jesse Bates. Other than that, that secondary was trash. All right. So, if the Eagles can build, if we can stack and we can put some things together, I think we're going to be seeing our beloved Philadelphia Eagles back in the Super Bowl very, very soon.
It's because it's called good coaching. It's called good coaching. Bengals had good coaching. Us as Eagles, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But for some reason, it feels like Allen Robinson is coming to the Eagles. I don't know why. I mean,
I kind of get that feeling too.
Listen,
we're going to either hear it tomorrow or Friday. If for some reason it's going to say breaking news, Allen Robinson just signed a deal with the Eagles. I don't know how much, but for some reason I feel that way. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask a quick question to the host of this podcast? All right. If the Philadelphia Eagles get Deshaun Watson, can we please do like an emergency podcast? Just this whole gang.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because that's going to be a crazy podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, I put a tweet out yesterday or the day before, and I got a lot of likes on it. I'm getting ready to change this whole thing. You know, it's not going to be Eagles Uncensored anymore. Going a little more professional. But I want Howie to give me one last reason to use this name for a good. Yes, we will definitely have a show if that happens because I want to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
So we'll have it.
Listen,
that would be a bang. That might be a boom.
I drive a bus. And if that's breaking news, still call me to come on. I will be on the bus.
Okay.
I'm dead serious.
Pull that mug over and be like,
mirror. Just put the camera right in the rearview mirror. Just talk from there. Keep it safe.
right.
It would be wild. I would be upset. I would be emotional on both ends because there's a lot of uncertainty that would happen if that move would be made.
This beard would have to soak up my tears, bro.
No. Because I'm gonna tell you this right now. If that was to happen, I'm going down there with a pitchfork and you think I'm playing? Like I'm dead serious. Like I'm only like 20 minutes away from the stadium. Like I would definitely.
You right, huh?
This man is so serious. He's so serious.
He's at the NovaCare conference in the front office with a pitchfork. Like, I'm sorry, I have an interview with Howie, please, at 9. Mm-hmm.
If that happens, bro, I will meet you down there, Mucci.
I was gonna say he'll be a good company.
I'm only 2 hours away, bro. I'll drive. I'll be right there with you.
I'm dead serious. I'm trying to tell you, I will go on live and everything. Where you at? Take 95. You gonna see me in like 2 hours too. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm dead serious. I will be out there screaming. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Other than that, like I said, I just can't wait to see what happens next. Like I said, it doesn't matter how many thorough players we get. The coaching got to be there. If the coaching ain't there, I don't know what to say. Because like I said, it's amazing that the Bengals – I actually wanted the Bengals to win because I'm a Joe Mixon fan. But but I just don't like their colors. Their colors just didn't look right. You know what I'm saying? But that's another story. But there was something about their coaching. I'm like, this is good coaching. Like you said, it was a lot of no-name players that we never seen before. Or, as far as Bates and us knowing the offense, but the defense, like they came out of nowhere, playing good, a hard-nosed, head-on football. And like the coaches, I never heard of them before, but again, they was there. They could have won. It's just they didn't have Joe Mixon at the last minute, and I thought, what's their quarterback name for the Bengals? I thought he got hurt for a minute, but he was there. And I gave him more respect. Yeah, so it was like, but and this is his second year, and he did that. Like, I mean.
Good luck to Pittsburgh and Baltimore and stuff, because guess what? That division's got to go through Joe Burrow now.
Hold on, can we just mention the fact that Mitch Trubisky is a Pittsburgh Steeler? How wild is that? Why was that? Do you think, let's be honest, was that a desperate move?
No, actually, that was brilliant.
Brilliant?
That was brilliant.
Wait.
Please.
Mitch Trubisky is the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Listen, man, I'm telling you, that was a brilliant move, dude. I'm telling you, watch. I'm not playing. Listen, Pittsburgh is twice the team Chicago was. They are twice.
He's not that much better. To me, Trubisky is not that much better than Kyle Rudolph. He's not. Maybe a notch, barely above.
Wait.
He played really well in Chicago with what he had around him. He lost those games because that team was just like, and that just
really well.
I'll give him a mulligan for Cody Parkey. I'll give him a mulligan for that. But remember, his play has always been up and down. A lot more down than up.
I know, man, but now he's got Mike Tomlin. I mean, now he's got fucking coaches now. That's what I'm saying. I think it was a pretty good move, and he's mobile. He's a young Ben.
Carson Wentz. He's a young Carson Wentz.
No. He's a young Big Ben. He's a young Big Ben. Honestly, he really is. Big Ben back in the day could actually run a little bit. Trubisky can run a little bit. They both were mobile. They both had good arms. They're pretty much getting a young Big Ben. If he can develop into a really good player, dude, they got a steal. I'm not playing.
Yeah, I mean, they got 2 former first-round quarterbacks on that roster with the kid out of Ohio State. So, I mean,
Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah,
right. It's crazy.
Listen, I know Pablo will be down for that live because I know it's going to happen when Taylor Heineke beats out Carson Wentz for the starting position. I honestly believe that's what's going to happen.
I mean, he's pretty much done. Listen, guys.
I hope that does happen.
I can literally take this camera and point it to the Commander Stadium. Like, I live 5 minutes away from the stadium, right?
Oh, okay.
And I want to let you guys into the culture of the DMV. All right, Carson Wentz in the DMV, it collides. It does not work. All right, You're talking about, let's just be honest, a white guy from North Dakota State coming to a culture in the DMV where it's really groovy, to say the least. Guys are really straightforward. A lot of black guys. Yeah, I don't know.
But he a ginger. He messed up with the jacket. Well, you seen him with the Letterman.
I'll say this.
He couldn't take it in Philly. He's not going to take it in the DMV, right? Basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not going to work, guys. This is a 1 year rental. It's a 1 year rental. Look,
not just that, but this man is a very religious Christian man, and he's going for a dude that sexually assaults women. How is that going to work?
But yet we have diehard Eagle fan content creators saying that he's going to come into Philly and beat us next year.
Who?
I don't see it. Birdman.
That sounds like a Birdman.
Birdman. Yeah.
Come on, Birdman.
He was throwing out 50. Anybody who wants that smoke, he bet $50 that Carson Wentz is going to come into Philly and win next year.
Yo, no lie. I don't mean to throw him under the bus, but did you see the tweet he did yesterday after he found out about Watson possibly going to Atlanta? He's like, well, should we look at Matt Ryan? I didn't say nothing. I didn't even do nothing. I was like,
my gosh.
No. I just left it alone. I scrolled.
Yeah, Carson.
That's what I'm saying. He's letting his All respect to my guy. Birdman is my brother from another mother. I've met him in person. We've hung out, watched Eagle game before. He's a good dude. He is. But he is letting this is the thing. He's letting his hatred for Jalen Hurts, his dislike for Jalen Hurts cloud his vision. He really is. And he's joining that dark side of the fan base, because when you do that, you're not making sound decisions. You're making decisions on personal feelings. You're not making it on what's best for the football team, and you can't let that happen. You just can't.
Can we talk about that right quick? Can we talk about the hate for Jalen Hurts? And then when you ask someone, what's the reason behind it? What do you think? Never really a good response, other than the fact is he has a bad arm. He makes bad decisions. There's never any substance behind it. Like I put a tweet out, y'all seen it. I put a tweet out earlier talking about Jalen Hurts. And it was something, little picture. But there was so much hate. And I found myself all day just responding. And I was just interested because my response is, all right, can I get some more information? What is it that you don't like? Most of the times it was just someone want to crack a joke. Because everybody wants the likes. That's the age that we live in now. Everyone wants to like. Everyone wants to be a comedian. But when you ask what's the specific reason, why don't you think that he can develop? Why don't you think he'd be a quarterback in the future? You don't really get much. I got maybe one guy. That's it.
My bad. It's a delay. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. It might have been my delay. Apologize. No, like for instance, here's the thing. Jalen Hurts last year, his last 4 games that he had before this past year, he had a 51% completion percentage in those last 2.5, 3 games that he played, right? Last year, he had a 61%. That's a 10% jump, right? So imagine the next year, he goes to 71%. Well, that's another increase. And the year after that, he goes to 81. If he's always jumping 10% and he's always going forward, that's a very good thing. You want to see that. I get it. His completion or his QB rating was 61, but it was 51 the year before. So I can't sit here and say he didn't develop and get better. He did. But we got to see what he's going to do this year coming up. If this year coming up, if his 61 drops below a 61 or he stays at 61 or even a 62 and he goes 9-7 again and we're out of the playoffs, we're going to talk. Definitely we're going to talk.
And if this number doesn't improve, the coach 0-7 against playoff, if that doesn't improve, then we have to talk as well. These are the things that people have to know.
Can I jump in here? Could you hold that up? And shout out to Easy Money. I'm going to repeat his comment. He says Hurts is 0-7 against the playoff team's bottom tier passer. What hate is that? That's bad QB play. So my question for you is, what wide receivers did he have? We just talked about Jalen Reagor not being 1 out of 3 wide receivers.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside.
J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Who did he have? You got a hurt Miles Sanders. Brandon Brooks is gone. All right. So when you really break this thing down, Jalen Hurts had Boston Scott, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert.
And also, if I could just add to that, in those games, bring up his stats. How did he play? Because you're bringing out one stat, but not also following with another. Confirm the information. What was his stat likes in those 7 games?
And I want to remind people something very quickly as well. Who's the person that Jalen Hurts was with every single day up till the trade deadline? His tight end number 1 was Zach Ertz. He created a repertoire with Zach Ertz. It was not Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert created a repertoire with Minshew, and that showed in that Jets game. And before that, it was Flacco, because Goddard was second team, Ertz was first. Therefore, they had no chemistry going after the Ertz trade. They were developing chemistry as the games went on, because Goddard was number 2 at the time.
That's a hell of a
so that's where the whole complication between Ertz and Goddard come from, or Ertz and Hurts come from, or God damn it, Goddard and Ertz come from, because he didn't know him. He wasn't playing with him. The guy that he was accustomed to was traded away from him. Therefore, he had to learn a whole new guy who ran whole different routes than what Hurts did. Maybe his slant looked different. Maybe his post looked different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to learn that shit.
Let me say this really quick, Mooch. I want to say this. Like, it's crazy how everyone hates on the guy who wasn't handed the keys, who had to fight to get to where he is, but we love the guy who could care less, all right, for 5 years, who the Eagles handed the franchise to and did nothing with but for one season. So it's almost like in Philly, we want to see these players like come from the mud, and when they do, we don't want to show them love. Is this really the city of brotherly love, or are you hating on a brother? Because at the end of the day, Carson Wentz couldn't even look you in the eye and say, you know what, I no longer want to play in Philadelphia. His first press conference with the Colts, you know what he said? They said, Carson, how did you get here? He said, I don't know. It wasn't on me. I'm just here. You asked to be traded, my guy. You have Jalen Hurts playing in Philadelphia. Okay. He doesn't get the respect. He never got he had to fight for where he is. He is who Philadelphia, he is who we are. Mm-hmm. And yet we want to, well, Carson Wentz was this. Well, Jalen Hurts is 0-7. He's 23 years old, bro. Do you know how many 23-year-old guys are just saying, screw life? This man is leading grown men. Whenever you have, and I'm going to shut up after this. This is my thing.
No, I love where you're going, because as soon as you're done, I'm going somewhere with it. So
the same people that say they hate Jalen. Now watch these people. The same people that say they hate Jalen Hurts, well, not hate, but don't like Jalen Hurts, are the same people with the very same tongue that sit up there and say, I love Jason Kelce. Well, Jason Kelce says he loves Jalen Hurts. So what are you seeing? What are you thinking about?
No,
the greatest center of all time has signed off. He said in an article this week, if Jalen Hurts wasn't the kind of guy he was, I wouldn't be a fan of him. But I know who he is. Mm-hmm. And so my thing is, we celebrate Carson Wentz when we gave him the keys. He failed you. Jalen Hurts is trying with a bullcrap old roster that Carson Wentz had. Let's tell the truth. Jalen Hurts is dealing with Carson Wentz's hand-me-down roster. Tell the truth. Don't blame him for nothing, because Jalen Hurts' first year got you to Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. He got you to Tom Brady with nothing. Carson Wentz had Jay Ajayi. He had Blunt. He had Torrey Smith. He had Alshon Jeffrey. He had Dallas Goedert. He had Zach Ertz. He had an offensive line, and he had a defense. Jalen Hurts had those guys as they are aging. I'm done.
Mm-hmm. No, and I love how you went with that, because, I made the comment the other day. I think I even tweeted it. A lot of us, when we sit here and we talk about Jalen Hurts, I don't understand where the hate is truly coming from. Because if you look at Carson Wentz's first year starting, okay, his rookie year, I believe he had 3,400 or 3,800 yards passing. He had 16 touchdowns and 14 interceptions, right? Now, you look at Jalen Hurts' first official year starting, okay? If you combined his rushing and everything together, he was 3,900 yards, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. So this kid not only matched Carson Wentz's rookie year numbers as a first-year starter, but he also killed him in touchdowns, and he also had way less interceptions. So why are we giving this kid shit? I don't understand. The numbers are there.
Can I please just say this? Can I please say it? I'm just going to say it, and I promise you I'm done. The reason why and listen, this is not a race thing, but it's facts. I'm not going to sit here and play with you guys. The reason why Jalen Hurts is getting the hate is because he's black, bro. Period.
Hold on, because that's where I want to go. That's where I want to take it. Hold on. Because I want to say this, because this is the thing I got about those tweets from Philadelphia fans. Back when we had Donovan McNabb, he was our greatest quarterback ever. Took us to heights that no other quarterback has ever and still ever taken us. But yet we hated on the guy. People found a reason to hate on him. But yet when there were other quarterbacks like Kevin Cobb starting, there was no hate for his bad play. Yeah, he had the concussions, but there was nothing said. And then when you look at Jalen Hurts, everybody wanted the next guy, Carson Wentz. When Wentz was here, all those people talking about Jalen Hurts, they wanted Nick Foles. That didn't end up well. But again, it's like sometimes I think they see the Philadelphia quarterback and they want him a certain way. And if it isn't that way, and they don't like it, no matter what, no matter how good he is, no matter what he means to the team, no matter how much he's given, they don't care. That's the thing that I don't like about that. Just like you were saying, we're talking about the city of brotherly love. But the God love ain't shown, and it's for the stupidest reasons in the world. You see that kid out there putting his heart out, committing all last season, how he earned the respect of this team. But yet that's not good enough. You see him doing things that a lot of quarterbacks in the second year haven't done. We see him take your team to the playoffs, but yet that's not good enough. There's no reason that he can get any better. He's stuck at where he's at right now. Supposedly he's stagnant. That's bullshit.
Easy, I don't think he's technically talking about you, Easy. So.
No, hell no. Not even specifically.
No,
I'm just talking about
I'm talking about Pablo.
Blue City.
But my whole thing
in the comments.
Oh.
This comment right here is crazy to me, though.
No, I get what Easy Money's saying, but because sometimes I'll be looking at when Hurts have the ball and when, like I said, he do certain things where I don't agree with either. But again, like I said, it's the coaching. And then the guy Blue City Empire, he just got finished saying that Carson Wentz got us to the playoffs and saying third. Yeah, he did, but the problem is after he hurt his knee, he's never been the same since. That's why he's in the position that he's in now. So and then again, Easy Money keeps saying, he's not a franchise quarterback, just saying third. It's because of the coaching. Period. That's it. We just gonna have to see what he's going to do this year.
That's the thing that they coming into the league, Wentz and Hurts have had two different stories. Wentz had a transition that was smooth. I mean, besides the fact of getting thrown into the starting lineup rookie season, Sam Bradford gets traded right at the end of training camp or right at a preseason, and but he had the same coach first, second year. Jalen Hurts has not had that luxury. So I definitely have to agree with my guy Easy Money here when he said that Hurts had an upgrade at head coach. How do you go from a Super Bowl winning head coach to a first-year head coach and say that's an upgrade? I highly disagree with that.
Wait a minute. A former Division III wide receiver. Division III.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But what you can't forget is also in that 2017 season, our defense, one of the highest scoring defense. Our special teams, one of the highest scoring special teams. So that helped Carson Wentz that season. Don't forget that.
So that's why I said, what happened in that interview to the point where, like I said, how much power do I have? Do I have 25% while y'all got 75%? And that's why his voice, I guess, is not big enough. But then again, I say, was he the one that picked Devontae Smith? You know what I'm saying? And who picked and like you said, I guess Jonathan Gannon had picked Milton Williams. So I mean, again, I don't know what's going on. But like I said,
the great thing about it is, the great thing. My bad. The great thing about it is, this year we'll get to see him twice, and so everything that we're saying, those two, they're going to get on that football field and they're going to duke it out. So we'll see. We'll see if Carson Wentz is really that dude. We'll see if Jalen Hurts is really that dude. These guys have, however long Carson Wentz is going to be there, they're going to be able to do it for at least, 2 times a year. So it's going to be a heavyweight matchup.
Wentz is going to get that booty clapped.
He's going to get beat out in camp by Heineke. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah. No, listen, man. This is your 4 starting quarterbacks this year coming up. Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Taylor Heineke, Tyrod Taylor.
Yep.
That is your 4 starting quarterbacks in the NFC East.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Tyrod go?
He's at New York Giants. And they say they brought him in as a backup veteran to help Daniel Jones, but in fact, Tyrod's going to take that from him. I hate to say it.
But I will say, I hope Tyrod gets a fair shot because we all know what happened in San Diego. That wasn't right. I hope he gets a fair shot because he deserves it. He's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't really buy the whole
Russ ain't letting that happen.
The whole
Jerry
Tyrod
Jeudy
Taylor behind
for trade. What? Huh?
Hold on.
Russell Wilson ain't letting that happen.
Yeah,
Those-
yeah.
I
yeah.
didn't see he was on the block.
He's not leaving ever since.
Yeah.
No, he's not leaving.
Yeah, nah, he
I
not-
mean,
he
unless
not
you're trying
going
to tell me somehow, some way, Denver's going to go and get DK for him.
Right.
Then
But see, that's the same issue I have with having
Now, that's
Julio.
what we
He's
need
an
to
injured
do. We
player.
need to get DK.
No, we
I kind of like what Phil said.
do.
If you get someone like Emmanuel Sanders, he's a veteran player. He's still able to produce. It's not like he can do much, but he's still a guy who can get his work in. I love that idea. If Allen Robinson isn't available.
Hey guys, I unfortunately my computer is literally about to die. I'm 5%.
Yo, you too? I'm about to say.
Yeah, I don't want to just abruptly roll out.
My wife's going out.
Your computer's got good battery life because we've been live streaming for almost 2.5 hours
Yeah,
now.
I was like, oh boy, let me say
There you
something.
go.
But thank you
But I
guys
was
so
like,
much,
hey, I
man.
don't want it to cut off on you because I'm
Yeah.
Of
like,
course.
make sure y'all follow me and all this. And third, been great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much to the East Meets West podcast, man. I'm telling you, you guys are rocking with some of the 3 solid brothers on the YouTube platform. Thank you guys so much for having us, man. I love
Thanks,
what you guys are doing. It's all love. And man, if you're not subscribed to their channel, subscribe right now. All right, subscribe and follow everything that they're doing, man. Again, thank you guys for having me. You know, I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you for coming through, man.
Thank
I
you
love
for
your
those
takes.
words, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
Of course.
Gotta have you back on again.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
anytime,
Sure.
Pablo. You're always welcome in the East Meets West podcast.
Mucci, you as well,
And
man.
if
We gotta have
Deshaun's
you
an
back.
Eagle, we're going live. Don't worry.
Yeah, Mucci,
Cool.
you as well, of course. You know that.
All right, fellas.
Listen, it's been
Yep.
great.
Emergency
You know what I'm
podcast pending. This could definitely go down if a Deshaun Watson trade does happen involving the Philadelphia
yeah.
Eagles. You're definitely gonna get some live content from the East Meets West. And Mucci, you and Pablo are always welcome, my guys. Definitely.
Appreciate y'all. Like I said, me and Pablo, we got the Birds and Bros podcast coming up soon. We've
sure you
been
guys
all
check
over the place. But of course, yes, please follow me too. I was at 1,000. I lost a couple because, like I said, I don't be, you know what I'm saying, doing much as, as far as me working and everything. But I'm definitely on the board. Vic, nice meeting you, you know what I'm saying? Working with you. AK, you already know what it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. Philly
Thank you, sir.
Foothills, you know what I'm saying? Listen, like, again, we went back from a year ago. How long has it been? It's been like a minute, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
this was refreshing.
Yes.
So again, I
Mucci was
appreciate
one of the
y'all.
very first people I did a live stream with. So yeah, it's good to get back with you, my guy. Definitely, we got to do this more often.
Heck yeah.
Definitely. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all.
Yeah, man.
Of course.
Thank you for coming through.
Take care. Thank you so much. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you for being here, dude.
Of
Yeah, have a good
course.
one.
Yep. It's been a good, another strong East Meets West podcast. Definitely, we're approaching 2.5 hours. What'd you say, AK?
I said I miss him already.
I thought you took a shot.
No.
Right?
I never said I was an actor, okay?
We'll be.
Right. But yeah, Vic, you got anything you want to say before we wrap this up, or just let them know all that good stuff before we get out of here?
Yeah, man. Listen, everyone that came through, appreciate it so much. If you can, please go out to Mucci and Pablo. Subscribe, get to the channels, throw a comment. It helps out the algorithm. It helps them out. But you know who it is, man. It's Victory. You see me in the chats. You see me on Twitter. You will always catch me with my guys Wednesday nights. Possibly we may change. It's it's in discussion, but we're always going to be here every week to give you our content. And you'll always catch me with my guy Jerry on the big ticket every Saturday. Listen, guys, it was awesome this week. I love the conversation we had with those two. It was another great show. I hope everyone has a good night, and thank y'all for coming through.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Hey, man. It's always an honor being on here with you guys. You know that. I appreciate you, both of you. Your brothers and mine. We talk every day, and it's always an honor being here with you guys. So, yeah, no lie, guys. It's over already. I know it feels like it's been
It's the earliest, right? It's pretty early.
So, yeah, no lie though. I am on my way to 1K. please, if you haven't and you enjoy the content, please hit a like, hit that subscribe button, get my content out there. Want to be there before the start of the new football year. Well, week 1 of the new football year. So, got a little time, but I appreciate everyone that has tuned in and keeps tuning in. We can't do this without you. And in fact, we wouldn't want to, because we'd just be wasting our time. We all have families, so we appreciate the love and support. But yeah, another great episode, guys. I am AK Eagles from the Eagles Uncensored podcast. I may fuss and cuss, but you can count on me and my content like the fucking city bus. And if you like the Wagyu, subscribe to.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Absolutely well said, my guy. And yes, it has been one hell of a podcast. Definitely, this has been fun catching up with our guys, Mucci Robinson and Pablo Gary. Make sure you go check out their content. That's going to be coming back soon, I should say. They've already done some before, but you can always go check that out. And keep subscribing to the content. Keep locked in. Help me out with the watch hours as much as you can. I'm getting there. I think I'm approaching 2,500 or something about that, around there. I need about 1,500 watch hours more until I get monetized. But yeah, always make sure that you hit that thumbs up, whichever content you're watching. Leave a comment. That really helps with the algorithm. And like I always say, you guys are the absolute, nutrition, the food and the water to the channel. Without you, does not continue to survive. So make sure that you are locked in to not only the Nest Out West, but my guy here, AK Eagles of Eagles Uncensored, and Vic 3 as well. Our other co-host, Gio from the 215, couldn't be here tonight. He's under the weather, but definitely get well shout outs to him as he recuperates from his bad cold that he's fighting through. But yeah, you guys, just as an Eagles fan, as Eagles fans, let's just try to be a little. I know it's hard these days with the speed that we get our technology and things like that. Everything's coming at us at a rapid pace. Let's just try to be a little patient. I know that's a word that gets overused at times, but just let's be patient. Let's not, put the cart before the horse in certain situations like that. Yeah, you guys, it's always an honor to, like my guy AK said, it's always an honor to be on with my guys here, my brothers from another mother. And it's an honor to provide you guys that great content, and just keep your eye out for more and more from all of us. Always can catch me on the Birds of a Feather, the podcast, usually Monday nights, 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And of course, here with my guys on the East Meets West podcast every week. So yes, please keep it locked in. And until next time, we fly until we die. Stay mean, stay green. Thanks for viewing us on your screen. But most importantly, like I always say, keep it fuego. And we out.
Yeah, man.
Be good. Be safe. We love you all. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Continue to show the love. Pay it forward. And be good.
Monk.